Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family. Only at Jack in the Box.
There's a good look at Rogers Center with the roof open. It's a nice day outside. A little bit of sunshine and clouds mixed together. But it's always nice when the roof is open.
A lot better than yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. It was raining hard for most of the day yesterday. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The boardwalk is open. Visit beachboardwalk.com for park hours. 64 degrees, so good people of Toronto enjoying a day that is pretty comfortable right now to sit and watch their Blue Jays play. And for the Athletics, they're trying to finish what is already a good road trip, and they could turn it into a great trip. Let's take a look at the Athletics lineup today. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Dustin Fowler into the leadoff spot today. Then it's Simeon at short, Lowry at second, Davis the DH, Olson, Chapman, Piscotty, Lucroy, and Pinder round out the Athletics lineup.
And it's Joe Biagini on the mound for the Blue Jays. His last win coincidentally came against the Athletics back in July of last year out of the bullpen. Made 2 appearances out of the bullpen against the A's, 2 2/3 innings total. A strikeout, picked up the win on July the 26th. You see that little different type of a setup from Biagini. He's making his 4th start, but he's been both in the bullpen and the rotation, more out of the rotation now, but he's not fared that well. Still looking for his first win this season.
Defensively behind Biagini, the Blue Jays will have Granderson in left, Pilar in center, and Teoscar Hernandez in right. Donaldson, Arena, Solarte, Smoke on the infield, third to first. Luke Maley is back behind the plate. So Russell Martin getting the afternoon off. Biagini finishes warm-up tosses, and we're set to roll from Rogers Center. Both teams wearing dark tops today. Blue ones for the Blue Jays, green ones for the Athletics. As Dustin Fowler steps in. So Bob Melvin said, you know what, let's give Dustin Fowler a shot in that leadoff spot, which I think down the road that may be his best spot to hit.
You know, he hit 8 on Thursday and Friday. Yesterday he hit 7. Then I asked the skipper, I said, do you see him as a leadoff hitter? He said eventually. Well, today's eventually.
There you go.
Because he is there today.
First pitch of the game is a strike on the outside corner. Umpires, that's Brian Gorman calling balls and strikes, and he is the crew chief. Adrian Johnson, Trip Gibson, and Shane Livensparger round out the umpiring crew for today. They have been here all weekend, obviously. Swinging and a miss, and a quick 0-2 to Fowler.
You know, when the A's saw Biagini last July, after that he added a cut fastball, something that he did not have in that appearance against the Athletics. So the cutter now is part of his assortment of pitches, the 4-seam fastball plus the cutter.
Chop toward the second baseman Solarte, and Fowler retired on 3 pitches. So 1 away here in the second inning.
A's had nothing going for them for 7 innings yesterday before they scored the 5 in the 8th inning. Not something that you want to try to do, because bullpens in the back end usually are pretty good, and for a bullpen to have a 4-0 lead and give it up, that was not something that John Gibbons was happy about yesterday. But Bob Melvin was happy. Great way to spend an evening for the players and staff in Toronto, and for great comfort behind victory.
There's Marcus Simeon. First pitch is in for a strike. Marcus at 271. He's got 4 home runs. He's got 20 RBIs. And he's 3 for 10 in the series. A little bit more on Biagini. If you remember, it was 2016, a couple years ago, where his first year in the big leagues, he was very good out of the bullpen.
Exactly.
He made 60 appearances, had an ERA just a shade over 3, and he was a valuable member of the Blue Jays bullpen again. And that was the 2016 team that went to the postseason. And then last year they started to see if they could make him into a starting pitcher, and mixed results there, and trying to do the same thing again this year as Simeon rips one to right field for a base hit.
Well, the A's course, hitting home runs, but doing a lot of this opposite field hitting. As Maley set up outside, the ball tailing, come back towards the corner of the plate, and Marcus Simeon a great job going opposite field with a 1-out base hit. And sure, pulling the ball is great, but there are a lot of hits, as Mike Aldrete continually says. Boys, there are a lot of hits and ribbies on the opposite side, and Chad Pinder showed that yesterday.
So Simeon aboard, and here's Lowry. Lowry takes the first pitch strike. Jed at 328, 6th best batting average in the American League. He's got 9 home runs. He's got 37 RBIs. The 37 RBIs is 4th best in the American League.
Biggest at bat yesterday was the walk by Jed Lowry in the 8th inning.
Well, I was watching that game, and Lowry comes up, and you're all thinking, hey, here's your best hitter. Great spot, driving a run, maybe get a hole in one. And I thought him taking the pitch he took for the walk was it was a heck of an at bat, because it was a good changeup from Clippard, and pitch was called a ball. The rest is history.
I think there are times the hitter goes to the plate, and Jed, the veteran, a couple of rookies, young players behind him, and was thinking that maybe not going to get a pitch to hit. But really the play that set that up was Hernandez airmailing a ball to third base on a ball Piscotty hit that allowed Piscotty to get to second base. Otherwise, it's first and third, and maybe it's a whole different situation. But bad outfield play by Hernandez created that, and the A's took advantage of it. You're right about Jed, because, with Jonathan Lucroy, who he pinched hit for, Lucroy said, I can't remember ever being pinched hit for. And Melvin told him, he said, hey, I got the MVP of the league right now. I got a chance to use him. And Jed was having the day off yesterday, as Joyce is today, and Chapman on Thursday, and different guys.
A little bit inside. 2-2 the count.
There's Jonathan Lucroy. He said, maybe as a rookie, but he told Melvin yesterday, he says, I've never been pinched hit for. This was after the game. And Luke was very good about it. He said, I think I messed up their mind. Whenever I came out of the game, they said, hey, what's he out of the game for? And then all of a sudden they couldn't throw strikes.
Long set. Simeon runs, and it's a swing and a miss. Throw to second base.
Got him.
So they strike him out, throw him out, double play, and that's how the top of the first inning ends. So I don't know if the A's are going to check it or not.
Got him in the left leg, tucked under before the right foot got to the bag.
So the A's will not check it, and that'll do it for the A's in the top of the first. Maignan set to get to work against these Blue Jays. Starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Granderson, Donaldson, Smoke, Hernandez, Solarte, Pilar, Morales, Maley, and Urena. That's the Blue Jays starting lineup.
Daniel Mignon first start, actually second start, had a start, but did not last long. That was at the Coliseum a couple of years ago. So Daniel Mignon, who was up and down last year, up this year probably for good, facing a Blue Jays team that he really did not have a lot of success against in 16, but this is a different season.
Beat the Red Sox on Tuesday at Fenway. Final score in that game was 5-3, and he was good. Going to be pitching with some confidence. Mignon, this is his 10th start of the year. Just looking at all of those starts, he's had well, his first start he gave up 5 runs in 5 2/3 innings. Then at Houston he had the tough start where he gave up 4 earned runs in 2 1/3. But outside of that, all of his starts have been decent to very good. Yeah. Lost his first 2 to the Angels and the Rangers. Granderson hits one in the air to right field. Piscotty near the wall, and he's got it. Just enough room.
Just enough room and just enough height. Instead of driving the ball, Granderson with outstanding power. Pretty good pitch to hit. England thought maybe he had gotten it, saying, come on, Piscotty. And you know, you never know, with the roof open, you may get some swirling wind effects. Might have kept that ball in the park because the way the ball was traveling yesterday, he seemed feel for the wall with his glove hand as he made the nice play.
So here's Donaldson.
I wouldn't take a chance with that pitch to a lot of hitters, though. Because it was center cut.
Donaldson takes a first pitch strike. A struggling series for Josh Donaldson. He's 0 for 10 with 4 strikeouts. Spent some time on the disabled list this year, actually about 3 weeks. Right shoulder bothering him, and there's a lot of talk about how much that shoulder was indeed bothering him because his throwing looked different. Yeah. His mechanics looked a little bit different. And who knows, could still be bothering him.
One thing he's done in this series is swing hard.
Yes, he has.
He's created a lot of wind currents in the stadium.
Overall, his average sitting at 220. This is his 29th game. 47th game for the Blue Jays. Swing and a miss. There's the breakdown of his career with the A's and then with the Blue Jays. Over 400 games with each team. Fouls that one back. Donaldson, of course, an MVP.
A nice article in the local paper about Josh Donaldson and what that particular writer said about the trade. Thought it was a good one regardless of what happens with Josh following this year where he's a free agent. But based on what happened last winter, as we had mentioned earlier in this series, that his age may factor into whether he gets a big contract or not, or at least the length of it.
This one hit down the right field line. It's going to be fouled. Donaldson is 32 years old. He'll be 33 in December. So next year will be his, I guess we would call it his 33-year-old season. So it will be interesting. It was 2015 when he won the MVP in the American League. This one should be playable. Shallow right field. Piscotty hustling in. Still coming in, and Piscotty goes into a slide, and he caught it.
And it was probably his play. Unfortunately, Jed was able to get out of the way as Piscotty came running in. Playing deep because of the power. He looked to see where Jed was and then into the slide, kind of cradling it in his midsection.
So 2 outs. Let's take a quick look at the A's defense. Chad Pinder, he's going to get the start in left field. And Fowler and Piscotty, Chapman, Simeon, Lowry, and Olson on the infield with Jonathan Lucroy doing the catching. Here's Justin Smoke. First pitch is a strike on the outside corner. So Chad Pinder will start at third base, will start at second base, and now start in left field.
And you know, in a place like this, it's great because it allowed the skipper to give Chapman a day off, Jed Lowry a day off, and today a Matt Joyce a day off. And
that one's driven to right center, but it's going to hang up. Piscotty circling underneath. He's got it. You know what? Let's talk more about that turf and what it does to your back.
That's right.
Come back. And on the go. No score, second inning. A's going for the 4-game sweep. That's right, 4-game sweep here in Toronto. We mentioned it during the pregame show, Ray, and Bob Melvin mentioned it. We met with the media today about how tough this place has been on the A's, and I knew it had been tough, but I didn't quite realize it. The last 4 years, 14 to 17, the A's are 1-12 in this building. I know last year was a nightmare.
yeah.
So this feels good.
Well, the manager would know.
Yes, he would. He remembers everything. So, House of Horrors, but not this year. So, Ray, we were talking about the turf here, which was changed a couple years ago. And I guess it's not the artificial AstroTurf like maybe you played on, but it's not regular grass, and it does.
Still hard.
Players will tell you when you stand out on it for a long period of time or a couple games, it really starts to affect your back.
Absolutely, and it's field turf and it's ground up tires. That's why when the ball hits the field, this black substance pops up, and that's the ground up tires that they put in as a base, but it's still hard as a rock underneath. It's still asphalt.
And it really is different standing on the dirt of the infield as opposed to standing on this turf in the outfield.
Yeah.
Toward right field, Hernandez near the wall, and he's got it.
See, I think the wind's affecting those balls to right field. Because we felt a gust come up here, and as elevated as we are, we're kind of in that height. But with
it's
this
blowing
stadium,
toward the corner, maybe a little
I think so. It's probably hitting the back and maybe swirling around towards that corner, or from that corner coming in. Flags are moving a little bit, huge flags though. But I think that's why they say when it's closed, I mean, there are no elements and the ball can travel. And I think maybe Granderson's and Katie's were both knocked down by the wind.
Here's Olson. Olson 1-0 the count. 3 for 12 with a home run and 3 RBIs. Also a couple of walks in this series. But it has given Bob Melvin a chance to give some of these guys a rest, and I think that is important.
You know, one time before they put the dirt in, which was about before last year, I mean, this was horrible because they had the old turf, which was really hard. And for infielders, they had no reprieve. It was standing on turf the whole time. The best place was pitcher's mound and the catcher. Unfortunately for the catcher, because I remember when they built this place, you had to back up first base, which is running on the turf. So any place you played, you know, it felt good being behind the plate. But there's Donaldson on the outfield turf.
One-two pitch, fouled straight back by Matt Olson.
You're right. You'd think the knees, the legs, the feet, but it's the back usually that affects it. I think it bothers you just sitting up here and looking at it. I think it bothers all of us just looking at it because just the thought of what it can be doing or is doing to the body.
Got him swinging. Off-speed pitch, 78 miles an hour. Olson strikes out.
Well, even though Matt Olson hit a home run on an off-speed pitch to start this series, this curveball a little bit harder and no contact from the big man as he does a good job as that stride, the long stride, but it keeps the bat back, and that's why he generates so much power.
Pitch Cast brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company, and here's Matt Chapman. First pitch to Chapman is low. So this ballpark and, of course, St. Petersburg, the two places that have this type of turf, the roof is not going to open in St. Petersburg. No. A little bit high, 2-0. Chapman at 242. He's got 8 home runs.
See the places in Phoenix. That's a retractable. Same in Seattle. So at least they can grow grass because they open it up. I guess maybe they could here, but it's so cold.
Maybe it's the weather.
Yeah, the weather is horrible. I mean, it's snowing in April, so you can't grow grass. I remember at the old Met in Minneapolis before the Metrodome was built, they would sod the field after the Vikings played, and that never took hold because it was just bad weather.
Little pop-up over near the A's dugout, and it's going to be dropped by a fan. Got to make that play.
Now, Thursday for Matt Chapman, this was a big one. The A's hit a 3-run, a 2-run, and another 3-run. And this one carrying to left field, a very deep one. It's funny how guys will swing the bat and they'll look to see the flight of the baseball and see where the outfielder is and the wall. It's almost like your great golf shot where you tee off and you watch the ball and how far it's going to go.
Sure.
Straight down the middle.
Yeah, 180. Swing and a miss. 3-2. You saw that note. 46 road home runs by the A's.
Amazing.
And I think I said it was 15 or 16 at home. It's only 14 at home. 60 total. But that is an amazing comparison. And he fouls it right at home plate. Just got a piece of it. On this road trip, 9 games, the A's have scored 51 runs. And they've hit 18 home runs. So averaging a couple home runs per game on this trip. Not surprised. Shallow left field. I don't think anybody's going to get it. And it's going to fall for a hit. Chapman trying for 2. The throw to second base. Not in time. Good hustle by Matt Chapman.
And Cap, what we saw there, first of all, great hustle by Matt Chapman, but also when the ball hit the turf, it bounced up. And Matt, with the ball running in on his hands, he was thinking too, because it was in no man's land. This outfield plays very deep. But watch this ball check up as they're going for it. Right there, they had to slow down before it came down to Granderson. Just enough time for the hustling Chapman to get in safely at second with a hit first slide in double scoring position at second base. It's good hustle.
So double number 7 for Chapman, and here's Piscotty.
A good throw by Curtis Granderson, who played right field a couple of nights ago, but this ball stayed up, and by the time it did come down, just enough for Matt Chapman. Good throw from Granderson as he's able to play both right field and left field with a very good, accurate throw, but not enough time. That's the speed of Chapman. He can run.
Outside. I mean, that ball on this surface probably bounces a foot to 2 feet higher than it would on grass, and that's all you need. That's the difference in Chapman being out or safe.
That's a great call, because you know we've seen outfielders come up short, not even try to make the diving play.
And that one right over the head of Piscotty. It bounces away from Maley, and Chapman's going to hustle for third.
I hope that's a wild pitch, because it was wild.
Yes, it was, and yes, it is.
Well, way over the head of Piscotty. I mean, lucky that Maley got a glove on it, and that's the alertness of Chapman at second base once the mask went off. And Chapman perhaps saw that Maley maybe didn't know where the ball was. Wasn't that far away, and made it a close play at third. But the hustle again by Chapman puts him at third base, where a lot of things can happen.
Just a touch outside. Biagini thought it was a strike, and so did his catcher, Maley. On deck is Lucroy.
Well, you make the call, because Brian Gorman called it off the plate, and it was, according to that shot, according to the box.
Hit hard toward third. Donaldson cannot make the play. Chapman scores, and the A's lead 1-0.
The little things. Ball stayed down when he went up. And you know, in that case, even if he gets his body in front of it, knocks it down, it's probably still Scotty probably reaches base. But see, as he goes to his left, he's got great hands, but just eluded him. And those are the little things that happen. Better shot here to take a look at. See, it stayed down just enough off the glove of Donaldson.
So it is an E5, no RBI, but a run for the A's.
I'll take it.
So here's Lucroy.
See the black pop up, and then Donaldson went to his left, and you know, usually great hands and usually makes the play, and that time it just did not happen.
So 1-0 to Lucroy, hitting .274 with 10 RBIs. It's interesting, Ray. I talked to Marcus Simeon a couple days ago about playing infield here, and talked about that type of play. But he said it's very bouncy, very spongy, the grass area. He said, so you're aware of that it's going to bounce a little bit higher. But he said that's on balls that are coming off the turf. He said what happens when it hits the dirt is it stays down.
That's right, like that one.
So it's bouncy off the grass, but off the dirt, it stays down, and that's exactly what happened right there in that ball that Donaldson missed. So the A's get a run on the air on Donaldson, 1-0 Athletics. The Oakland A's in your X1 voice remote and get live stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. That looks really good. Great hot dog vendors outside Rogers Center.
Your favorite.
Oh,
you said
my God. I say it every year. I mean, it's, you know I'm going to say it. There's about 6 of them, and man, oh, man. They make the hot dog perfect.
So they're good, huh?
They are really good, and I'm going to bring you one next year. 1-1 the count to Teoscar Hernandez hitting in the cleanup spot. He pops it up.
Check the wind.
Luke Croy. And stay with it, Jonathan, and he does, and he makes the catch.
You know, see what he did there? Forget to see the replay, which I know Delo's going to show it, but he not only flipped his mask, but he got rid of his helmet too. And he's wearing sunglasses, which is great. But as the ball goes up, then the swirling winds, he takes off his mask. How about my helmet? Get rid of that as well. I want to not have anything come down over it. Maybe knock his glasses down. Who knows? But he did a great job staying with it. There goes the mask. There goes the helmet. And then, I mean, that's talent. When you can remove 2 items and still make the play.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, that's a talented catcher.
And you know what? If you're the runner, or in this case, the hitter, I think you got to run to first. Because the ball,
exactly,
I mean, we've seen now that it's a little breezy, so you're not quite sure what's going to happen. And you started to see Luke Croy backpedal a little bit toward the field, and I think you got to be running.
Okay, anytime a ball comes back behind a catcher, it will always go back towards the field. Because you'll see a catcher go back, and if he runs too far, he's going to overrun it because he'll have to backpedal. And that's why you're always hoping as a catcher for the third and first baseman, regardless, come running in hard, because you may be able to take over if you see the ball come back.
And it's going to do that, what, simply because of the spin of the ball?
Spin of the baseball, right. Because it's going to go up and just the spin brings it back. And that's why catchers, because of the familiarity of the position, that when the ball hits the bat, you can tell it's in the seats or straight up.
Sure.
And, you know, you just don't want to drop your head when there is a foul ball, because at that point you lose sight of it. But you see catchers at times run back to the backstop. Ball's in the seats, just the way the ball goes off the bat.
But from the time contact is made, then you have to, there's going to be a short period of time where you don't see the ball.
Exactly.
You don't know where it is, right? Because you got to get rid of your mask.
Right. And really, if you watch the baseball and people say, well, you blink too much, you always blink. It's just natural instinct that when the ball comes in and there's contact, you blink. You just have to minimize the blink. And when that happens, and you could tell the swing of the bat like that, when he got under it, goes straight up. But you also see a ball go off the bat, and you know it's going to go straight back and no chance for it to stay in play. And that's just a matter of being able to be back there enough to experience those things.
Inside to Solarte, 2-2 the count.
But inevitably, and you're right about Hernandez not running, even though the ball is foul. That was pretty close to fair territory. And if he backpedaled enough and made contact with the ball in play in fair territory, then at that point it's a fair ball. Should be standing at second.
Good battle here between Migden and Solarte. Solarte at 254 with 9 home runs, having a good season and having a good series. 5 for 14 with a couple of doubles and a couple of RBIs, although yesterday Trinan struck him out in the game. Another foul ball.
I had the chance to talk to John Gibbons, the manager of the Blue Jays, today, and he was saying what an 8th and 9th inning pitching combo you have. And there's John Gibbons, a better manager, but between Trevino and Trinan, he said 8th and 9th, you've got 2 guys throwing extremely hard. Trinan throwing a 99-mile-an-hour sinking fastball, unhittable. And with Trevino with a great cutter plus a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Just missed, so now full count.
Here's your 10th pitch, and it started 0-2, now 3-2, and they fouled off 4. So Just trying to put him away.
Fouled, same spot.
Your pitcher, this is what you do not like, because you know you're on a pitch count, pitch limit. As Mingden looked at the side panel to see what the count was, and he's fouled off a bunch. He's already had 10, and here's number 11 coming up. And again with a bat that started 0-2.
Lowry hustling out. Piscotti coming in, and it falls. Takes that high bounce. Solarte trying for 2, and the A's get him. So Solarte trying to stretch it into a double. He's thrown out on a close play.
Check him out of the batter's box. Fly ball, routine maybe. Not routine on this park, and especially Piscotti might have broken back. But a great recovery and a strong, accurate throw to second base. And there is Semien to make the play. I just missed it. Okay. Maybe just enough. Oh, I better go for 2 because it dropped. And at that point, you might as well stay at first base. But he did go to second and almost had a pop-up slide to avoid the tag. Great recovery by Piscotti, who might have broken back just enough that he could not get to the ball. But they end up getting the out anyway. As I always say, Kipe, you can be frustrated in the dugout.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're not frustrated when you swing the bat, you run, and if it's caught, at least you don't get thrown out, because you remember Rico Cardi, don't you? Rico, every swing, I just missed it.
Because he had his wallet in his back pocket. So A's with good play by Piscotti. A's lead at 1-0.
Is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
How about that?
That's a lot of power, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
Niagara Falls, about an hour and a half away.
That's some power there. You ever stood underneath the falls? I did it when I broke my finger. When I was in Cleveland. Cheryl and I took a trip over, and
it's impressive.
You can actually walk underneath and have the falls come down,
Gotcha.
and you just, wow, talk about powerful falls.
Probably worth a visit.
Yeah.
All right, here's your hero from yesterday, Chad Pinder. Pinder, in talking about the grand slam he hit yesterday, he said, well, throughout the game, Blue Jays pitchers were getting me out by pitching me up in the zone. So he went up there looking for something up, and watch where this pitch is.
Yeah, it's up and it's
Right
gone.
there.
It's gone. And he's got power. We have seen his power. But, you know, as we talked in our open, there's your opposite field. That's your right center. He tries to pull that ball, hits it straight up. Yeah. But that's the power he has to go to the opposite field. And why not? But he had not had success against Clippard. And Clippard has such a great changeup. He probably should throw his fastball as a waste pitch and use his changeup to try to get outs.
3-2 now to Pinder. He's got 4 home runs, 10 RBIs. And again, starting in the left field today after starts at third base and second base in this series. That one's hit hard. Donaldson down to a knee, makes a nice backhanded play. The throw across, and Pinder's out.
See the arm angle there from Donaldson?
Yeah, boy, that's a
yeah, he's usually right over the top.
Throw.
Yeah, he's right over the top. Good backhand here to go down a knee, but watch the release point. Just kind of to the side. And
it's almost like he's pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, and what it creates at that point with the sidearm is a sinking action that Smoke has to be aware of at first base, because he's usually right over the top, like when he was a catcher. Have to throw a four-seamer across right over the top.
So probably figure that Donaldson's the kind of guy, he's going to grind through it and want to play, but who knows, maybe there's something wrong in there. And shoulder injuries are not really all that uncommon in baseball players. Maybe a baseball player, a retired baseball player, that doesn't have something wrong with the shoulder, right? Ray?
Well,
you know what I mean.
That's why whenever they didn't know who was going to be with the club in 12, they asked Ricky, MC Hammer, and me to have a bobblehead. And that's when I said to Ted Griggs, you throw it out, I can't catch it. There's no way I can throw the first pitch. So I'm just upset that Ted didn't get up on the mound. Maybe he was afraid of Dallas Braden, get off my mound.
2-1 to Fowler, who grounded out in his first at bat. He lines one to center field for a hit. Dustin Fowler, his first hit.
Well, and that's a good swing with the pitch away from him, taking it up the middle. And, you know, kid's got some bat speed. And what we've seen with him running the bases, great speed running the bases, but how about stolen bases? And we may see something here. Who knows?
The A's have 3 steals in this series, and Fowler's got 2 of them.
Yeah. He's got a big lead, too. Mainly throws well, the catcher.
And that one's lined right field, but it's going to hang up for Hernandez. So Semien with another hard hit ball.
And, you know, that's what makes Marcus Semien a very good number 2 hitter, because he's been leading off with good power that he has, but good opposite field power, as he just showed on that line drive. Got a base hit in his first at bat. Thing here, and you know, we always talk about the green light, and good base stealers have the green light. It means that they get a good jump, they can take off. Well, Jed Lowry's a left-handed hitter. There's Donaldson with the shift. Hold up now, pace the game. We're going to slow it down while Donaldson heads over to the second base spot. But for Jed Lowry, he's not going to know if Fowler runs. And if he gets a pitch outside, he may hit it to left field anyway.
Fowler with a very big lead. So certainly Fowler's speed and stolen base ability is a nice thing to have for the Athletics, because they really don't have anybody else who's a serious base stealing threat. Yeah, we got guys that can do it. Semien can certainly do it. The A's have stolen just 10 bases all year. So that's where Fowler could certainly improve on that, and he runs. Throw to second base is right there, and they got it. Perfect throw by Luke Maile. Donaldson covering, and Donaldson put the tag on Dustin Fowler. It would be tough to make a better throw than the throw Luke Maile just made. So that's how the top of the third ends. center field. It's not as cool as the treehouse at the Coliseum, but really, Ray, what is? As far as just a place to hang, have some fun, watch the game. But that is in straightaway center field here at Rogers Center.
Yeah, Kev, when I saw that in center field, the restaurant area, it looked like it was under construction. But actually, they've kind of changed it because it's kind of a standing room only treehouse type that the A's have. But you're right, treehouse much better. But it just seemed like when I first saw it on Thursday when we were here, I said, "Is that under construction?" I said, "No, it's standing room only now. Restaurants, standing room only." But
yeah, a little restaurant right above it, and then of course the hotel above that.
Carlos Delgado hit the restaurant. I mean, he was a strong hitter for the Blue Jays.
Roberto Alomar lived there.
He lived there.
Right, he lived in that hotel.
There's the hotel, and unfortunately, late John Cerruti lived there as well on the final day of the season. Something happened. He passed away, which is kind of scary, but he was broadcasting and didn't show up. And at the restaurant, the hotel, look out your backyard, watch a ball game.
Morales down the left field line. Pinder, a play maybe, and he jumps into the stands and he got a glove on it, but it popped out of his glove. Let's hope he's okay, and let's hope anybody else down there is okay. Pinder did get a glove on it.
Yeah. Ball was slicing.
Well, hang in there, youngster. He's okay.
But Chad Pinder, just a tremendous athlete, and tracking and seeing where he was and reaching in. And maybe the wall, when he hit the wall with his legs, knocked the ball out of his glove because it looked like he had it there. And then as he fell in, that's what makes the play by Piscotty in Boston in right field really spectacular play. Right there, had it. And fans have a right if the ball's in the stands. That fan with the glove kind of reached up, maybe deflected a little bit.
2-2 the count to Kendrys Morales.
So he looked to see where he was, and then when he reached, there's the left-handed fielder. Kid with the glove in the stands.
Morales hooks one down the right field line. Could be trouble. And it bangs off the wall. Morales is going to round first and stay there. Morales does not run real well. And Piscotty obviously knew he wasn't going to catch it, so he backed off the wall a little bit, and the ball bounced right back to him.
Well, that's good. Keeps the double play in order. The cutter coming inside. That Morales fortunately did not have the elevation, had the distance, hit midway up, and you're right, Piscotty played it perfectly off the wall. And you see a ball hooking down. That's why he's accomplished outfielder. And for Pinder, the difference for Piscotty, who is an accomplished outfielder in right field, he made the play in Boston. And for Pinder, who's been at third, second, and left field in this series alone, he's playing all over the place to help the skipper and give some guys some time off. Well, Piscotty, this was what happened in Boston. The ball down the right field line and into the stands, tumbled over. Of course, used his right hand, and Joe Moreno's the first base umpire to challenge it and say, "Oh, by the way, yes, it was a catch." We all knew that. But a great play by Piscotty in right field. But notice the wall in Boston, the same here. They're both low. So it enables really the outfielders to go in and maybe jump in, reach over. See behind Chapman, the height of the wall.
One pitch to Maile, down and away. 1-1. Urena, switch hitter, is in the on-deck circle. The Blue Jays today have 4 switch hitters in their lineup. Smoke, Solarte, Morales, the runner at first, and Urena, the young shortstop, who's in the on-deck circle. You don't see that very often.
You're lucky to have one on a team, much less 4 in the lineup.
Swing and a miss. 90 miles an hour with some action running in on the right-handed hitting Maile.
Mengden used a little bit of a slide step that time, and with Morales at first, you don't have to worry about him. He did steal with a no throw. That was yesterday when they were not throwing through. But that's the only way he's going to steal. That's not going to run very well.
Kendrys Morales is the guy that was with the Angels. Remember, he had a terrific season. I mean, I think he was in the top 7 or 8 in MVP voting. And then the next year, fairly early in the year, he hit a game-winning home run, and he kind of jumped on home plate, and he really hurt his foot, missed the rest of the. And I don't know that he's ever completely been the same after that. He's still a very, very good hitter, not having a good year this year.
But you always talk about a strong foundation, and when you break your foot, and that's the time that he did, he might still be with the Angels. Who knows? If he had not hurt himself. But actually, I think it was a walk-off grand slam and jumped on the plate, just hit it wrong. At that point, everybody stopped, but you still see it happening now where guys would jump up, and all it takes is a foot to be down, and you hit the foot instead of the plate squarely and end up rolling the ankle.
3-2. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's a little bit inside, very close. Migden thought maybe it was a strike.
Well, Manaea thought a lot of that yesterday with this pitch. According to Brian Gorman, too much off the plate, but he's wondering about it. Manaea yesterday, who does not ever show emotion, was showing a little bit with some pitches he thought were strikes.
Yeah, Bob Melvin wasn't real happy with Shane Liversbarger, the home plate umpire, yesterday. Fewest walks per 9 innings. Migden is second behind the great Bartolo Colon. In fact, that is just the 6th walk Migden has allowed this year in 52 innings. Bunted. And Morena is going to move the runners up. That's what they call a drag bunt. So he was probably bunting for a hit, but he'll get a sacrifice.
Well, I'm not surprised. You're right. He was dragging the ball for a base hit, but it should have been just a simple sacrifice, because sometimes you can pop a ball up when you do that. But he did get the ball down. Migden only one thought on his mind, and that was to get the runner first. Means now that Morales, with Chapman way off the line at third, can get down the line, but Morales does not have tremendous speed, so it does take away from his aggressiveness.
All right, here's Granderson, the leadoff man. First pitch in for a strike. Granderson hit a fly ball well to right field in the first inning. That was caught by Piscotty. Anderson 1 for 8 with 3 walks in this series, and there's the full infield shift. Anderson hits it toward the seats and foul. So 0-2 to the veteran Granderson. Been around a long time, Curtis Granderson. He's 37 years old in his 13th season. Pretty good career. 322 career home runs for Curtis Granderson. Fouls that one straight back.
Over the infield back, you're hoping for a strikeout, second and third, and that is something that Migden is capable of doing. He is around the plate, which to some degree will hurt a pitcher when hitters do know that he's around the plate a lot, especially as the count gets deeper in the favor of the hitter.
Looked like maybe a little bit of a quick pitch by Migden. 47 pitches for Daniel Migden so far, 31 of them strikes. He needs a strikeout here. He does not have one yet today. Another foul ball left side.
Well, you think about the shifts and see where Chapman is playing now. If you don't, as a pitcher, pitch out of the stretch, even with, I think it was Batanza, see the shift? Morales is at third base. He can walk down 30 feet if he wants to.
And if you had a serious base runner, I mean, Morales is not going to try. I mean, you could try something if you wanted to.
I think that was Pilar with Batanza's pitching. And he just took so much time. He stole second, third, and home. The same inning. Batanza threw a wild pitch.
That one tapped right at the plate, so Granderson stays alive.
Well, we talk about a put-away pitch. When you get 2 strikes on a hitter, this ball hit, came straight up and hit him in the left arm instead of the face, which times you'll see hitters do that. "11 pitches thrown by Migden with 2 strikes on a hitter that have been fouled off. 11 already, just the third inning.
And that one, he somehow got a piece of. That was one of the strangest foul balls I've ever seen. He must have hit it maybe right off the end of the bat.
Curveball and just barely.
That would be just barely. Morales at third, Melee at second. Swing and a miss. He struck him out upstairs. So 2 away.
Well, what a time to get a strikeout. But all those slow curves, the slow curve and then the high fastball, just at 92, but enough for the location. And that's a protecting swing by Granderson. He saw the location of the pitch, figured he had to swing at it. Too close to take. So the good fastball at 92. Not 102, but 92. But the location and the pitch was a great one.
So now Migden has to get Donaldson. He hit a fly ball to right field in the first. Curve stays inside to Donaldson. %55% fastballs for Migden. So he spots it well because he's not a guy that necessarily throws real hard. But good breaking pitches. Just a little bit outside.
This is where Smoke hitting third behind Donaldson, who's hitting second. And he has been hitting second for a while for John Gibbons. Really helps as you see today what has transpired. Slide of the curveball, a good one to Granderson right before the fastball that struck him out.
Donaldson takes kind of a half swing, did not go. Well, you do have first base open, so you can be careful if that's what you choose to do with Donaldson.
See, that's a lot of body forward, and Ryan Gorman, the veteran umpire, deferring to first base for Adrian Johnson. Yes, he will be swinging.
And he does, and he grounds it. Chapman's got it. Throws on the run in time. Nice play by Matt Chapman. So Donaldson swings at the 3-0 pitch, and Migden gets out of the jam. 1-0 A's after 3.
we stand ready to serve all military families.
Well, the Blue Jays doing a nice job saluting the military here in Toronto. And a beautiful day. Sun is out now. The Rogers Center roof open. And the A's trying to head home. Well, they're going to head home in a good mood no matter what. But they could head home in a great mood.
Great.
Finish a 7-3 trip. And an off day tomorrow, which is good news.
And a great performance by Daniel Mingden, bottom of the third inning, to have second and third and one out and get a strikeout when he needed. And then the ground ball and the 3-0 pitch to Josh Donaldson. Good sequence of pitches.
Foul straight back to the screen. Check this out. Remember Chad Pinder went into the seats and he bumped into the youngster. Chad went over, said, "We good?" Nice young man, Chad Pinder.
Yes, he is. Very thoughtful.
Yep. Make sure the young man is okay, and he is. So it's always great to see a Major League Baseball player up close and personal, but you don't necessarily want him falling into your lap.
And you know,
he's good now.
Yeah, he's good. Just waiting for another foul ball. But you know what? We should commend our crew, because guys down in the truck to be able to find that, because I didn't see it. You know, so congratulations, the crew doing a great job and finding something that really would have gone unnoticed. Frank, Delaire, everybody down. So nice scoring. Frank, great job. Great job, Frank. Wherever you are. It's got those cameras. You could be up on CN Tower and shoot down with the great zoom lens. Great job, though.
Little bit inside. 2-2. Close pitch.
By the way, Kai, speaking of the CN Tower, there was only about 30 floors that were visible yesterday because it was foggy, or the clouds were low hanging. At least when the game started, it did warm up a little bit.
Ugly day yesterday.
Very ugly. So if you're going to pay all that money to go to the CN Tower, don't waste it, because you're not going to see anything when you get up there.
Last night it was raining hard.
Yeah. Oh gosh, come on.
The check would not have enough zeros on it for me to go up.
No way.
Yeah, they say there's a price for everything. No, there's not.
No, there's not.
Because I would freeze. Because I don't like heights anyways.
Oh, no.
I would just freeze, and then I'd be stuck up there for the rest of my life because I wouldn't be able to get back.
Yeah. Cheer.
Yeah, they're clapping. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What a time. Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh, please don't show that. I'm queasy. I'm sorry. That's just not forget it.
So now 3-2 to Lowry.
And what is it? We understand they actually pay money to do that. They have to pay to do that.
They're called thrill seekers.
Yeah. And we were told that it's a little over 1,800 feet to thrill. That's a thrill. 50 Canadian, you can do it.
And Lowry with a leadoff walk.
Great at bat. Another one started 0-2 and 9 pitches, and Jed Lowry draws the walk.
So leadoff man aboard. That's the first walk by Biagini. Now he'll face Chris Davis. We should point out that Joe Biagini is a Bay Area kid.
Yes.
He was born in Redwood City and lives in Santa Clara. Went to College of San Mateo.
So for all those watching and listening, he's a great guy.
Well, we wanted to let everybody know that.
That's right. That's a good call.
Went to College of San Mateo and then on to UC Davis. So originally a member of the Giants organization, and then came over to the Blue Jays. So I'm sure there is some Biagini fans, friends, family, and fans watching back in the Bay Area. We wish him well starting tomorrow. We hope he has a terrific season. Bounce to short. Morena has it. He fires to second for one, and Chris Davis just kind of jogging like he may be injured, and that's a concern.
Yeah, right groin. Right, something.
Because Chris is usually a guy who he hustles pretty good, but as soon as he pulled out of the box, and he just really.
No, he did a swinging.
He didn't even. Wasn't even running. It looked like it was indeed swinging. So that's a concern.
Quad, groin, something, as Nick Paparessa taking him upstairs. Bob Melvin, of course, very concerned. And the double plays the least of his worries right now.
Well, we're just not used to Chris Davis being injured. So here is Matt Olson, who takes a pitch a little bit high. Olson struck out in the second inning.
And you can say, well, anybody can DH, but not anybody's going to DH with that kind of power. 13 home runs, 38 driven in.
Breaking ball, and that one missed. So 2-0 the count.
Again, watch the right leg as he goes through. Something grabbed him right there. As he did follow through. So hopefully by not running hard, he did not damage whatever the injury might be anymore. Let's not forget the A's do have an off day tomorrow. I always think about Cal Ripken Jr. and his consecutive games played streak of 2,632, and just think of something simple as that could have ended the streak.
Check this out, though. This was the first swing of that last at bat. You know what? That's it right there, right?
That's right. You got it. And that's more of the groin area.
That one is belted to right center field. That's going to get down, and it's going to shoot through all the way to the wall. Olson into second, and he has a 2-out double. So hit number 4 for the Athletics, and they got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs.
Well, that's what you can do with a 92 when you're that strong, and that was outside corner, but yet looking for the fastball, got it, split the gap in right center, and an easy double because it hits the turf. It will take off quickly. So Matt Olson with his first hit. Swung and missed a curveball on his first at bat, but again, that was a 1-2 count. 3-1 here, and he gets the fastball, whereas he got the curve in his first at bat.
So here's Chapman, see if he can get Olson home. First pitch is a strike to Chapman, who doubled and scored in the second inning, the only run of the game, and it was a pop-up that fell, and Chapman, hustling all the way, stretched it into a double, and then he scored on an error.
The only run of the game so far, unearned.
Another flare. Coming in is Granderson in a sliding play to save a run by Curtis Granderson. So the A's get a walk, they get a double, they do not score. Bottom of the 4th coming up. It'll be Smoke, Hernandez, and Solarte. 1-0 A's. Bottom of the 4th inning. Justin Smoke to lead it off, followed by Hernandez and Solarte. Migden, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. He's allowed 1 hit. First pitch to Smoke is in for a strike. So right now the A's are carrying just 3 starters. Migden, Manaea, and Cahill, and they have 10 relievers.
Yeah. And they can afford to do it because by the time they get back home, they're going to have to decide who's going to start. But for right now, with the bullpen, in the 2 games, Thursday and Friday, 14 2/3 innings of a possible 18 were thrown by the bullpen. There are 2 reliable starters. Of course, Cahill just came off the disabled list after 10 days.
Right field. Piscotty waiting. So out number 1. So the reason that things are a little out of whack right now as far as how many pitchers you have in your rotation and in the bullpen, that's Andrew Triggs. That was on Thursday and he had to leave the game. So Triggs leaves. And then Anderson left the next night.
Yeah.
Also 4 innings yesterday from the A's bullpen. So what we're saying is Trevor Cahill is going to start on Tuesday in game 1 of the series against the Mariners. And then
TBA?
the A's will need a starter on Wednesday and maybe Thursday. I mean, Manaea could go on Thursday and that would be on his normal 4 days rest, but
from what I understand, they don't want to do that.
Yeah,
they want to try to give the extra day as much as possible, and that would be the extra day. I think they'll have to bring somebody up anyway because they're going to get in a stretch where they're going to play straight through. Do have an off day in Texas in the next trip, so there is some latitude. But bottom line, you need healthy starters because you can't really kill the bullpen early.
Yeah, the bullpen. Listen, it's done a great job in this series, but you can't keep doing what you're asking them to do. But an off day tomorrow certainly will help. Ball driven toward right. Piscotty reaches up and grabs it. So you saw Triggs lead the game, and then this was Anderson with the left shoulder.
He said of all his injuries, he's never felt a shoulder problem, never had a shoulder problem. And so Bob Melvin actually had gone upstairs, and Al Pedrique, first base coach, said, hey, he's not right. And Caparesta went out, and he said in the back of the shoulder. And you know, when we see a manager look at a lineup card, especially in a situation like that, he's trying to determine based on who's available, who can come in and get some length. Yeah. And it was Josh Lucas on Friday. What a job he did, and the rest of the bullpen. But you know, Cap, one of the things they talk about also the ups in the bullpen. In the 8th inning yesterday, with the A's trailing 4-0 to begin with, Wilmer Font got up, then Danny Coulon, then Lou Trevino. So it was a matter of 3 guys got up, only 1 came in, so they count that as, well, he was up and throwing and getting hot. Yep. And usually when a manager, pitching coach gets somebody up to the bullpen, they want them to come in the game. They don't want them to just get them up, sit them down.
Well, we talk so much about pitch counts, and even with relievers, hey, he threw 15, 20 pitches last night. But, I mean, a guy getting loose in the bullpen, he's probably throwing 20 pitches.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you get up twice, well, that's 30, 35 pitches.
Right. And that's equivalent to actually being in the game, and maybe more so because you might not throw that many pitches.
Migden grabs the broken bat line drive, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for the A's right-hander. We're headed to the 5th from Toronto. 1-0 A's lead.
with a night of summer fireworks presented by Lagunitas. Clear your calendar to be at the ballpark on Friday, May the 25th. It's against the Diamondbacks. Enjoy Oakland's best fireworks with a Star Wars twist. Visit athletics.com/Star Wars to get started. There they are.
So 1-0, top of the 5th. A's fans have enjoyed this weekend in the very nice city of Toronto.
Yeah, especially a couple of days with the roof open.
No city we go to has more buildings being built every year
Thank
than
you.
Toronto.
Thank you very much.
But we have said that every single
I
year
know.
in the last 10 years.
So many cranes. I mean, I count them today coming. I think I counted 10 cranes, which means there are buildings under construction.
All over the place. I guess that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, economy's got to be great. Remember Joel Skinner back about maybe 2010 or 11? He's a bench coach and gets a family in construction. He said, "I've never seen so many cranes in my life." That was then, and ever since then, it's been ongoing.
1-1 the count to Piscotti, followed by Lucroy and Pinder. Eugeni's been good.
Yes, he has.
1 walk, 2 strikeouts. He's allowed 4 hits and an unearned run. So both guys have been sharp, throwing strikes.
And you look at his numbers coming in, a very high earned run average in his 3 previous starts. He got up a lot of runs, hits, but not today.
The Blue Jays just trying to figure out how to get their rotation rolling. Of course, they're without Marcus Stroman, who's their #1 pitcher. He's on the disabled list. That does not help.
Well, you think about the #1 starter and their closer, Roberto Osuna, who is on the restricted list. That's tough for Jay Happ. The A's not seeing him in this 4-game series, which is not a disappointment. He's a good pitcher.
And there's a leadoff walk. Second inning in a row, the A's have got the leadoff walk. So at 73 pitches is Eugenie.
I think that was a call. Pete Walker to the bullpen. At least he's on a phone. Probably not calling for pizza, which it's good pizza at Boston, wasn't it?
Yeah, I could go for a slice right now. What a surprise. Huh? Lucroy takes a rip at the first pitch and fouls it straight back. See today where, since we're in Toronto, and this guy will always remind you of Toronto, Jose Bautista let go by the Atlanta Braves. And there were some years here where Jose Bautista, in my opinion, he was as scary as anybody in the American League.
Well, just his aggressiveness, and I know we talked about it whenever we were either coming in or leaving, saying just watch Jose Bautista because, I mean, aggressive but yet very knowledgeable of the strike zone.
So he was let go by Atlanta, who had just signed him recently. So he really was with the Braves for a very short time. Did not do much. Hit just 143.
That's an up-and-coming team, not kind of out of nowhere. And as they say, I was talking to one scout. He said, "Have you been to the new stadium?" I said, "No." And he said, "It's a bandbox." And the ball carries there anyway, but he said the new stadium, which they just had a new one, it seems.
Yeah. What did we tell you? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in Double-A, just tearing it up. He's probably baseball's #1 prospect now. That's at least still in the minor leagues, and it's just a matter of time before he gets here. But every Blue Jays fan, they know exactly everything there is to know about Vladimir Guerrero, and he has never played in the big leagues, but it will be soon.
And you know, Cap, I was just thinking as I said this, as Maley took one off the mask. I think there's that critical date, and I want to say about June the 15th, because that's when Chapman came up last year.
Yeah.
As this ball straight back off the mask of Maley. But that's an important date, and I stand corrected, but there is a certain date that you can bring a player up, and it doesn't count towards the future. I mean, essentially 6 years free agency, but you have to go 7 in that case. But you get the full effect of the player after that. And of course, for Matt Chapman, I don't think he's ever going back. So we may see something happening with the Blue Jays, and they're in the tough division anyway with the Red Sox and the Yankees. And there's the ERA, and that's why there's some bullpen activity. And you get the latter part of the game if he gets there. but he's in the middle part now. The clubs are conscious of the service time, especially if they're a rebuilding club. They try to get the extra year if they can.
Donaldson waits for the big hop, juggles, and then he throws to first, not in time. Remember a couple innings ago, Ray, we talked about what Marcus Semien said. The ball's coming off the turf. It's a spongy turf, and it just takes bigger bounces, and you have to be aware of it. There's not a lot Donaldson could do.
Did I hear base hit? Yeah, he started to go to second, but good hustle by Piscotty, so he changed and just not the arm strength. Good hustle on both ends by both Piscotty going to second after the leadoff walk, and for Jonathan Lucroy, smell it going down the line.
So indeed it is a base hit. So 2 on, nobody out.
But Jonathan Lucroy, he's caught a long time, but watch him get down the line with this ball kind of rolled over a little bit, but running hard, and then got me a hit. Boy, oh, I'm proud. Take it. Because he's thinking he's trying to avoid a double play. And I'm sure Donaldson would have gone the short route to at least get the lead run if possible.
So here's Pinder. Donaldson plays in a little bit. So 1-1 to Pinder, who bounced out to third in the third.
Okay, you brought up a good point about the ball off the turf and the dirt and what it does. And, you know, these guys being the Blue Jays, they're familiar with it. It's usually the visiting team that might have a little bit of a problem. And you see it in the outfield, the way they play the outfield, and of course the infielders on ground balls.
It's spongy.
Yeah, very spongy.
So a quick 0-2. Pinder will be followed by Fowler. Pitch number 82 coming up from Biagini. Tapped foul as he ran one in on Pinder.
It kept going back to the last inning. Great job, not the last in the previous inning when second and third one out. It was the bunt by Urena who put the runners in scoring position, second and third. Maybe he was bunting for a base hit because there's not a lot of sacrificing done. Maybe he was bunting the ball, bunting for a base hit. If not, he gets the sacrifice. But he put the runners in score position, but it was an out. And that's why a lot of people think that bunting is not something that you want to see because it does give the opposition an out.
How many, after that sacrifice bunt, how many sacrifice bunts do you think the Blue Jays have?
By the way,
that was their first. Unbelievable.
And he was bunting for a base hit.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that is.
They did not have a sacrifice hit until that bunt a couple innings ago.
Game 47.
Wow. Let it rip. So 2-2. Another bouncer foul past Matt Williams, skips into the crowd. Now, if you live in Toronto and you get sunshine and it's this time of year, you're happy because you go through a long cold winter.
That's right.
And even April and beginning of May is not always all that great. Summer is right around the corner. And that one just missed a little bit high with the breaking ball to fill up the count.
Well, the curveball just did not come down. Mainly tried to bring it down towards right in the middle of the strike zone. Brian Gorman, the veteran umpire, said, no, don't do that. I'm going to watch you cross the plate.
Three-two pitch. Pass Donaldson into left field for a hit. Piscotty rounds third. He's going to score. Lucroy hustles to third, and it's 2-0. The A's lead.
Okay, if you're right on about the dirt, I mean, Donaldson, we have seen him be flawless, and John Gibbons going to the mound with a pitching change, but great at bat by Pinder again. 8th pitch, and he rips one. Donaldson trying to take it to the side. Short hop, came up, couldn't handle it.
So it goes as a base hit for Pinder, and it's the last hitter that Biagini is going to face. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Josh Donaldson could not come up with that hard hit ball off the bat of Pinder. If he comes up with it, it's probably a double play.
That's right.
So A's take it. It goes as a hit for Pinder, and now they have runners at the corners for Fowler. The new pitcher is Danny Barnes. Barnes threw an inning on Friday night, so the A's have at least seen him.
Well, he's primarily a fastball changeup pitcher. You see the sinking action on the first pitch as he's looking for a ground ball to try to get 2.
Fowler, it's jammed a little bit, fouls it straight back.
Well, these are the runs we talk about, Cap, as Eugene looks on as he leaves with 2 runs, 1 unearned. This one's earned, plus a run at first and third. But for Fowler to make contact to second or short, even if it's a double play, the A's score a run, they'd have to score this run.
Fowler popped it up. Melee turns around. He can't find it. And it's going to be into the seats. He looked up and kind of put his arms out, which is the universal sign of I cannot see that pop up.
He did it early. You see, when he looked up, see the difference with Lucroy wearing sunglasses, maybe that helped Luke, whereas Melee had no chance. Fortunately for him, the ball was in the seats.
So 1-2 to Fowler, who has grounded out and singled. Rolls this one to the right side. Solarte is going to go to first. That'll get the run home. And all around a very productive out for Fowler, and it's 3-0 the A's lead.
When you heard the sound of the ball coming off the bat, you knew it was not going to be a double play. And for Fowler, especially with a couple of strikes to make contact, that's big.
So Pinder goes to second. Fowler gets his 5th RBI. Remember, this inning started with a walk.
Last inning started with a walk, turned a double play. Got, well, of course, Chris Davis, unfortunately, and Josh Donaldson 3 in this game, but this one looked like it's going to be it. It stayed down. That scored Chapman, who had a hustle double, and then this ball hit hard. Little Olay could not come up with it. Run scored. And of course, it was Lucroy. That was a base hit, but Lucroy's ball that, wow.
Center field and deep. Pilar back, and that baby's gone. Simeon to the big boy part of the ballpark, and it's 5-0. The A's lead.
Wow. That is a wow. Oh, he crushed it. What a crush. That ball stayed and did nothing. I mean, you're looking for a sinker. Instead, it's elevated fastball. Pilar, who has the ability to do a lot of things, but that's no chance. As Biagini, unfortunately for him, his line quickly completed.
So home run number 5 for Marcus Semien, a 2-run shot.
Look at this swing. You talk about, I mean, they talk about getting under balls. He just proved what you do with a high fastball. He got under at the launch angle, as they talk about with the high heaters.
When the A's hit 0 home runs, they're 2-9. When they hit 1 or more home runs, they're 22-13. They've hit 6 now in this series.
And they've hit at least 1 in every game on this road trip.
He's now with 61 home runs as a team, and they are 5th in the American League in that category. And they're 3rd, or make that 6th in the league in total runs scored. Watch where this pitch is.
But again, look at the height of this pitch too, and the way it traveled off his bat. I mean, he has tremendous power, and he showed it with this ball to the big part of the park, into the seats, and that's just left of center.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. So Lowry is called out on strikes for the 2nd out. So the A's with now a 5-0 lead thanks to the 4 runs here in the 5th.
Look at the part of the plate. And Maley really didn't have to bring the ball in, just catch it properly, and been a strike anyway.
So 2 away, Matt Joyce is going to hit for Chris Davis. If you're just joining us, Chris Davis in his last at bat in the 4th inning. And it took a little bit of a kind of a check swing, tweaked something in his leg, it looked like, and then the next pitch he grounded into a double play. Really did not run down the line much.
Well,
so he is out of the game.
He's had 2 pitchers in Triggs and Anderson on the disabled list following their short appearances and injuries.
A liner fair headed for the right field corner. Matt Joyce is going to have a 2-out double.
Chris Davis, if you're just joining us, his last at bat, which would have been last inning. That was one that kind of grabbed his right thigh, groin. Either one bad, and then curveball, he hit it and just couldn't run.
Looked like it grabbed him pretty good.
Melvin, arms folded. But you know, kind of going back to Chad Pinder. Talk about an important member of this club. And let's hope not the case, but if it is the case that Chris Davis with a leg injury can't play, has to go on DL, the fact that Chad Pinder can play all over. You got Matt Joyce, who just came in as, I mean, a day off, but he gets to DH now. So there are possibilities, and one guy, because of Chad Pinder, plays so many different places, really helps this club.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
You know, you never want to see injuries from anybody. But if they
go warming up, excuse me.
Yeah, but if they do happen, you have to have some fallback, and a bench, and especially somebody with versatility, turns out to be a very important part.
And everybody, and I mean every team, has seems like more injuries every year.
Now you look at the payroll of the disabled list; it's tremendously high.
1-1 to Olsen. So now 2-1.
They've been thinking about StatCast and Marcus Semien. We showed where it went, and exit velocity had to be, I mean, it sounded like a home run. That was 102. 428 feet to left center field up in the seats at a 29-degree angle, and that's really getting underneath a high fastball and turning it around.
So 3-1 now to Olson. He is the 8th man to bat in this inning. A's have scored 4 times. They've got a couple of singles, a double, a homer, a walk. Left center field. And it's going to be Pilar who has it. So that will do it for the A's. They do big damage. They score 4 times. The final 2 runs coming on that swing of the bat by Marcus Semien. Bottom of the 5th coming up, 5-0 A's lead. So some runs to work with. Marcus Semien 2-run homer. And we'll see how Daniel Migden handles this offensive help as he'll face Pilar, Morales, and Maley bottom of the 5th. Pitch count at 66 for Migden. Pilar grounded out to the shortstop Marcus Semien in the 2nd inning. So this is the 3rd road trip of the year for the Athletics. And I know early on this season we talked a lot about how playing better on the road is a must. And we say playing better meaning compared to last year. Chapman, what a play. Backhand, spins around and throws out Pilar.
And there's your difference in the game right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a double taken away by Chapman because tremendous play. Backhand, and then of course a perfect throw to first base to get Pilar. So instead of a double to lead off this inning, Matt Chapman, as always, saving another possible run. Just a great third baseman. And whenever you play defense because your manager thinks you can save more than drive in, it's a major, major accomplishment in what you're able to do. And of course, he can hit as well. Runs hard, runs fast.
Here's Kendrys Morales, who takes a first pitch strike.
But you know, the fact that he's catching this ball behind him and then comes up and he knows he has a strong arm, and even with Pilar, who runs well, he can still throw the ball, and it's hard to outrun the baseball.
Morales had a single in the 3rd. Getting back to playing on the road, the A's right now are 13-13 on the road. Last year they were 29-52, so that's why there needs to be improvement this year, and there has been Ray, the first road trip the A's went on, spent a week in LA. They were 3-5. The second trip, 4-5. This trip, 6-3. So they have gotten better on the road as the season has gone on. They'll have to continue to do that if they want to be in contention. But this trip, anytime you come to the East Coast, it's tough, and then you play 3 good teams, and the A's have handled it quite well, thank you. Driven to center. Fowler back. Fowler with room, and Fowler has it.
Unbelievable. Fans, MLB at Bat is your #1 Oakland Athletics app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get A's home screen icons and features such as the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Did the name Daniel Robertson, didn't that sound familiar? Wasn't he an Oakland A's?
Yeah, draft pick.
Yeah, grand slam last night. And speaking of playing better on the road, the Angels, who will be coming here following today's game in Anaheim, they'll play the Blue Jays, starting I think a 2-city trip. They're playing very well on the road.
And not very well at home.
No, they've the Rays have gone in there and played well.
Broken bat. Simeon gets a nice hop. And Migden has a very nice 3-up, 3-down inning. A little help from Matt Chapman at third.
Appliance during their Memorial Day sale and get up to 50% off appliances and up to 60% off mattresses.
A's looking for the sweep. They're leading 5-0, top of the 6th inning. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. It's Jake Petrichka, formerly of the Chicago White Sox, now with the Blue Jays. Petrichka had some good years in Chicago, but arm injuries have gotten him the last couple of years. He was on the disabled list 3 times last year. First pitch is a strike to Matt Chapman. We should probably talk a little bit more about what happened last night with the Angels, though, Ray. Get your thoughts on that. The Angels game last night, which they lost to the Rays. The Rays started Sergio Romo, who, of course, pitched across the bay for many years. Pretty good reliever, but they started him. And there's a base hit by Matt Chapman, so he's got a couple of hits, and the A's now have 9. So Romo starts the game. And this is all master planned by the Rays. Faces 3 right-handed hitters. That's sort of his specialty, right? And he strikes out Kozart, Trout, and Upton. That's it. He's done.
Done.
Right?
Yeah.
So the Rays then bring in a young man by the name of Ryan Yarbrough, who's a left-handed pitcher. He's a starter. He goes 6 1/3 innings. He gets the win. So when it's all said and done, the Angels score a couple of runs late, but the Rays win the game 5-3. Sergio Romo is starting again today. They're going to do the same thing.
That's great. I know. Because they said on the telecast they're probably going to do it again today. Well, it's the same guy. Because really, didn't they score the 4 runs, the grand slam in the second inning?
Early in the game.
Right, in the second inning.
The Angels scored their runs in the 7th and 8th inning, I believe.
So Romo, and you know, the philosophy, I mean, here's a lefty, and you get 3 pretty good right-handers out by facing, and really all they're doing is bringing the reliever in to start the game versus at the end of the game.
Well, that's the point is you're using Romo in a spot where you know that he's going to face 3 very good right-handed hitters.
Exactly. No, it's
so I mean you can see why they did it, and I think the thing that makes it even more interesting is that they're doing it again today.
Right. That is amazing. And Romo, 1 inning, 3 strikeouts, he gone. I mean, really, he had 8 innings last night to rest, plus tonight.
Sure.
Turn it around with the day game after a night game.
So it's what it is. It's again, it's just an interesting philosophy that the Rays decided they were going to give this a shot, so they have a starter kind of ready. And who knows? Maybe you're giving up some runs early in the game, and you want to try to don't let that happen. And you know that the Angels are going to start the top of their lineup.
Right.
You know it's going to be Trout. You know it's going to be Upton, and
if somebody gets on, Pujols is right behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I can see it a little bit, and you're allowing a guy who's really tough on right-handed hitters to be guaranteed to face 3 good right-handed hitters, which is what you want, but you may not get that opportunity later in the game.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well,
just plain crazy.
Chapman was running on the foul ball by Piscotty, so he's back to first base.
Running again, and the ball was rolled foul.
But you know, Tony La Russa several years ago, I don't want to say in the 90s maybe, when he was managing, he came up with a thing about having 3 starters pitch one day. 3-3-3, and the guy in the middle didn't mind it. It was the guy who was the first guy, especially if runs were scored. It didn't last long, but it was something different. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the Rays decide to go with 6-man rotation this year? Were they one of the teams to do it?
Piscotty fouls it back.
I know they've got young pitchers, but they're playing extremely well. I mean, I think to your point, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. Well, right now, the Rays are playing well.
Sure, they've won 6 in a row.
They're playing very good baseball. And not only that, they're playing on the West Coast. They're going to go home, and then, oh, by the way, they come back to the West Coast because the A's will host them at the end of this next homestand.
Chapman looks like he's running again, and he is, and the ball again is rolled foul. So today we looked at the Angels lineup. It's Kinsler leading off. It's Trout second. It's Upton third. They're just, listen, if you're the Angels, you're not going to change from that. No. Ohtani is pitching today for the Angels, so it's Romo against Ohtani.
Yeah. Wow. But the
very interesting.
And the Angels are predominantly right-handed hitting anyway. When Ohtani's in there, he adds the left-handed dimension.
I think Calhoun and Ohtani are really the only 2. And that kicks off the glove of Urena, and the A's have another base runner. So defense continues to struggle today for the Blue Jays, and the A's have already taken advantage in this game.
Well, this time Chapman was not running. And of course the ball is hit and put in play, and Urena, I mean, could have been a double play. It's not. Off his glove.
So that's 2 balls, Ray, that if fielded cleanly, they're both going to be double plays.
You know, and I think
that's 4 outs that they've given away.
And I think your point, and for the Biagini family in the Bay Area, probably if there's any solace to the fact that if Josh Donaldson makes the plays today, this is a scoreless game.
It's 0-0. Exactly.
Scoreless game. And nothing against Josh, but it just so happened the 3 balls that have been hit in his direction, he has not caught them. And usually anything close to him he comes up with, and he's going to get an out, if not 2. But you also cannot take away what the A's have done. You can think of 2 players. Matt Chapman, who hustled with the ball to left center field, hustled Dunmore, he scores. And then, of course, Jonathan Lucroy hustling on the ball that Donaldson couldn't get the runner at second, tried to throw to first, and Lucroy beat it out. I mean, just a couple that come to mind in the last inning. And Solarte, because he wasn't running, thank you to Larry, gets thrown out at second. That could have changed. So, you know, little things. And I think Stephen Vogt, who we hope does well because he had season-ending shoulder surgery. But as he once said recently, that his coach told him, if you can't run hard for 20 seconds when you come to the park, don't show up. Well, that's 4 times to first base, 5 seconds each time. So you're running hard. And, you know, again, the fan wants to see that.
Up the middle, and it squirts off the glove of Solarte. Chapman's going to hustle home, and he's going to score. The Bluebirds are out at the Rogers Center as it's now 6-0. It's going to be a base hit for Lucroy. Not an easy play as Solarte dove for it. It just trickled off his glove.
Well, the A's taking advantage of whatever today. And with the turf, once the ball was deflected by Solarte, it's not going to slow down on the grass or on the turf. It's going to continue to roll, and that's why the very alert Chapman, as well as Matt Williams coming down the line, he's pointing as I said, let's go. And that's the aggressiveness of Matt Chapman, or Matt Williams waving Matt Chapman as Williams got down the line. Great shot to show him waving Chapman home once he saw the ball trickle past Solarte.
And you know what you're seeing too, Ray, in this series? A's team that's won 5 out of 6, a Blue Jays team that's lost 6 out of 7.
That's a good point.
Where the A's are outplaying them, they're out hustling them, and any break the other team takes advantage of, and that's what's happened in this series. The A's have, when a mistake has been made, the A's have taken advantage, and that's why they're trying to sweep the series.
And that shot there is just the importance of a third base coach, the extra eyes, because Chapman looked back. He couldn't really tell where the ball was. He slowed down, and then you can see Matt Williams waving him to come home, and that's being able to notice that the ball got far enough away. It's the number 4 Matt Williams, and so heads up for the A's third base coach to see that. And as much batting practice as he throws, his arm is loose because he is waving it vigorously.
Matt Williams looks like he could still play.
Yes, you're right.
Made the mistake of wandering down into the gym on the road to fake a workout. Just sit on a machine and read. And Matt's in there, and he's making everybody look bad. I'm serious. He's in great shape.
Somebody just compared you to Bartolo Colon.
Yeah, I know. No. Well, the fact that I have jeans on when I go in there, that's probably not that smart either.
Well, Bartolo keeps going, doesn't he?
He's the best.
Unbelievable. I mean, the fact that he's on the top of the list when we show the top whatever in pitching, he's there.
Reyna drops this one, flips to second, and they'll get 1 out. And another play that, quite frankly, should have been a double play.
Well, and unfortunately, and John Gibbons going to go out and make a pitching change, but this should have been a double play. The ball came up, and he at least got 1. He might not have gotten Pender going to first base if there had not been a force at second.
All right, so another pitching change. We'll be back. 6-0 A's lead.
To host your next meeting, event, or convention. Get started by contacting the Santa Clara Convention and Visitors Bureau at santaclara.org/meetings.
So the A's leading 6-0, looking for more here in the top of the 6th inning as the lone left-hander in that bullpen for the Blue Jays comes in, Aaron Loop. 21st appearance, does not have a win or a loss.
You know, he's faced the A's twice in this series, okay? And it's different now because he's facing Dustin Fowler. He's faced Matt Olson twice, and he's gotten him out. He's come in to get out of a jam. He's faced Olson twice, and he has had success.
And that one is driven right center field. Hernandez back. Hernandez still going back. That's off his glove. It settles at the base of the wall. 2 runs are going to score. Fowler races around to third with a stand-up triple. It's 8-0, and another ball that certainly could have been caught, but it was not by Hernandez.
You know, I think, again, in defense of Hernandez or not, this ball hit very well. I don't know that he thought it was hit as well as it was. He took a little bit of a different route. He went straight over, then started to go back, and then at that point, I mean, you can't. I mean, you have to have a better angle than he took on that ball, and he did not take the correct one, and as a result, it just kept going.
So it is a triple, as far as we know. Can't imagine it be anything else. So the infield comes in. 3 runs have scored for the A's, and they got a chance for more. And I just think watching that replay, listen, it's not an easy play, but I think more often than not, it's a ball that's going to be caught.
Oh, sure, it should have been. But just the speed of Fowler, he knows he's got a sac fly. And then here he goes.
This should be deep enough. Fowler tags. Kind of a mock cheer here at Rogers Center as Blue Jays defense has really struggled in this game. So Marcus Semien gets his 3rd RBI, another good at bat.
Well, they did the best thing too. Fly ball to right field. That is a great shot to go to right field. And I have to say too, watching Dustin Fowler run, talking to John Gibbons, he said, "Who's that center fielder?" I said, "Dustin Fowler." He said, "Is he the guy that tore up his knee in Chicago?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "No." I said, "Yes, that's him." He said, he's running perfectly." I said, "We know that. He can run very well."
And you also saw Fowler after he hit it, and he may be thinking, well, you know, he wasn't running out of the box, but he shouldn't run because there's a runner at first.
And plus, it's a sac fly.
And you don't want to, obviously, you don't want to pass the runner.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Remember, we saw Brett Gardner in New York put up his hand telling Judge not to run past him as he went back to tag up.
Yeah, so it was an error. It was not a triple, Ray, on that ball.
Well, it's a sacrifice fly. You have to give him the sac fly plus an error to allow the other run to score. I mean, you can't deny him of that because there's only 1 out. That would be a sac fly. And the official score, did he say that? Mark Ling, who is with us again, did he say sacrifice fly first? He should have, because that's, you can't be an error all the way. You got to at least give him a sac fly, because
I think you need to go talk to him, Ray.
Well, if listen, if he catches the ball, it's a sacrifice fly. There's 1 out. So
yeah, he's got to. Yeah,
he's got to get a sac fly.
If you're saying an E9, you're saying he should have caught it.
Right.
If he catches it, it's a sacrifice fly.
So basically, you're penalizing him by giving him an at bat, which, if it's caught, which they gave him an error because it wasn't caught, then it's a sac fly.
Absolutely.
So if they don't change it, I will go talk to him. Yeah. Or Mark should. I mean, Mark Fernando.
No. You know what? I think it's from an entertainment value standpoint, you going to talk to the official score is much better. But you are absolutely correct on that.
Now, if 2 outs is a different story. But a fly ball, I mean, Fowler's running the way he is. The guys are tagging. The runner at third tagging. So, really, it's.
So 2-2 the count. The bases are empty, which has not happened a lot for the A's, especially in the last couple innings. They scored 4 in the 5th They have scored 4 here in the 6th to take a 9-0 lead.
Okay, by the way, it's a road trip downstairs, so
I know.
It's a long way.
Although, you know what? For us,
oh yeah,
we want to see it, Ray, because it's awesome.
Well, here it is. Okay, here's your catch probability, 99% that it's going to catch it, which Mr. Official scored. That's a sac fly because of catch probability alone. And plus, if you see the runner at third base, he's tagging. I mean, he's staying at third base.
Three-two pitch to Lowry, and that one is driven to left field, hit pretty well. Granderson back though, and he makes the catch. So another big inning as the A's score 4 times. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It is now 9-0 Athletics. California.com and the NBC Sports app. It's presented by your NorCal Honda dealers. Daniel Migden now with lots of run support, a 9-0 lead as he faces the rookie shortstop Richard Urena, followed by Granderson and Donaldson. Urena had the sacrifice in the 3rd inning that put runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, and as we mentioned earlier, it was the first sacrifice of the year for the Blue Jays. That's McGuire, the right-hander. Deck McGuire.
See, even that ball kicked just enough to go foul.
So 1-2. 78 pitches for Migden. He's allowed just 2 hits, a Solarte single in the 2nd, and he was actually thrown out trying to stretch it into a double, and then Morales a leadoff single. So another good outing so far for Migden. Sliced foul into the seats.
If I said something or open about Migden and Manaea back to back, there are times that if you have 2 pitchers who can pitch deep in a game, you kind of separate them because you want somebody in between that maybe is not going to go deep, and you're going to utilize your bullpen.
Sure.
But if you have less usage of your bullpen because of 2 starters, then that's something that may be done in the future. Harvey, the Rabbit Backpack makes its debut on Saturday, May the 26th. That's against the Diamondbacks for 15,000 fans. Get this giveaway. It's a great one, presented by Ross Dress for Less. Plus, the A's 50th anniversary season-long celebration continues with a special Swingin' A's celebration, a day dedicated to honoring the special team from the 70s. Make sure you grab your tickets at athletics.com/tickets. Here's
Granderson, and the first pitch is in first strike. Granderson, a fly ball to right field and a strikeout. I got 10 in a row retired by Migden.
11.
Make it 11, scooped up by Olson. But your point on breaking Migden and Manaea up, if the A's were to do that, certainly makes sense. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have a rotation that you have maybe 3 guys that are all pitched deep into games, well, then you don't really have to worry about that. I don't know that the A's are at that spot right now.
No, not right now.
They may get there, but right now they're not.
No, not right now. I mean, between Tommy John surgeries and injuries to 2 starters on this trip in back-to-back games. And I say that because Tony Russo was very good about that, because he had Dave Stewart and Bob Walsh go deep. And then he had
But he did not pitch back-to-back, right?
No, he had Storm Davis and Mike Moore kind of alternated, so that if the bullpen needed to be used, he knew that Stu and or Welsh could go deep in the game and not have to use the bullpen. So it's something, but you know, usually it's the All-Star break when changes like that can be made, if they are going to be made. It's hard during a season because with just one off day, it's kind of tough to break them up. But you know, between the two, Manaea had really not one of his better days yesterday, 5 innings, but still he got 5. And if Migden can continue along his path now, he could easily go 7, if not deeper.
And you know, even with a 9-0 lead, and he's had 85 pitches, he's going to get him through 7.
He's going to get an extra day tomorrow anyway, because they're probably going to stay in a 5-man rotation, which is the extra day for everybody. No, I agree.
Migden this year, his pitch count high is 106. Very good numbers.
.118. Remember last year that shutout that he had in Philadelphia, Kipe. So, and then backed it up right after that with 106.
Long run for Pinder. He's going to get there. Settles underneath it, and that is a 3-up, 3-down inning, and that is 12 in a row retired by Daniel Migden.
In 1993, Joe Carter gets Mitch Williams. Walk-off home run. Blue Jays win their 2nd consecutive World Championship. The late, great Tom Cheek on the call. Touch him, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run. And that was it. Mitch Williams, the wild thing, gave it up. Joe Carter with Cito Gaston, Paul Molitor on the on-deck circle. Actually, I mean, it was just a great, great finish. And Tom Cheek, the late Tom Cheek, 4-3-06 consecutive games broadcast by the legendary Tom Cheek, and back-to-back world champions. And Kipe, how about this? 94, when the World Series was canceled, they had a chance to do 3 in a row in 95. The unfortunate cancellation of the World Series in 94, but
you know what? You could have had an all-Canada World Series in 94
oh
too.
My.
Remember Montreal, the Expos were having a great, they had a great team.
The demise of the Montreal Expos as a result of that.
Could have been, yeah.
Because they had an amazing team. You're right.
This is the 42nd year of the Toronto Blue Jays as a franchise. Of course, an expansion team in 1977 with Seattle. So, Ray, you saw them.
The old exhibition stadium. That's right. In the snow.
Deck McGuire. Missed his third appearance, 4 1/3 innings for big right-hander Deck McGuire.
Yeah, he faced the A's yesterday for an inning in the 9th inning. Had a 1-2-3 with a strikeout.
The A's and the Blue Jays had a couple of postseason series against each other.
That's right.
Of course, 1989 when ALCS Ricky Henderson kind of ran wild, just completely dominated the ALCS, and the A's beat the Blue Jays in 5 games. And then 1992, it was the Blue Jays who won the ALCS in 6 games against the Athletics, so they know all about each other. 89 and 92. So Joyce swings and misses. This is what you're talking about, Ray. This is the first game in the history of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We're going to play.
7th, 1977.
Yeah.
And they were playing the Chicago White Sox. And I remember getting home from school, Ray, back in Wisconsin, and the White Sox were on TV. And I watched this game, and I said, what the heck is going on?
Strike one.
Ralph Garr leading.
That's right.
it. They were going to play that game
no
matter what.
You know, exhibition stadium, and thankfully this place opened, because that was cold over there. It was cold and snowy. But I do remember not only playing there but broadcasting. I've said it before. I still can't believe that exhibition stadium, when they had the exhibition there, that the concerts had the contracts to play. And there was a game that the A's were playing the Blue Jays, and the concert stage was in right field. And they said if this game doesn't end right now, that stage is coming out on the field. And it's going to be a suspended game. McGuire hit a home run.
Time for the Sky Dome.
Yeah, time for the Sky Dome.
So exhibition stadium, which is not around anymore. But it was really a football stadium.
It was, and I remember when the Blue Jays played in the playoffs, you could sit literally and watch the game, and it was to your right.
Yeah.
Because it was set up for football.
That's right. But they moved here in 1989 in the middle of the season, which was a little bit strange. I guess, you know what, I think the Mariners did that too with Safeco. They moved in the middle of the year.
Played there just long enough for King Griffey Jr. to say, I'm out of here. Those King Dome hits are not going to be the same.
That's Solarte, the second baseman, who waits. He's got it. So again, first week of June 1989 is when this place opened up. So it's been here quite a while. But it is quite a structure. It really, really is. Sitting here watching the roof open is interesting. Looks like Fred McGriff.
Fred McGriff, yeah.
They had some good teams back then.
Well, they were averaging 50,000 a game for a while when they were winning in the early 90s.
Yeah,
but I want to say there was a rain delay, and I can't remember the catcher, but he ran into the rain. All he'd do is take 3 steps back because it kind of folds a little bit the way the roof closes. And he ran into the rain. All he'd do is step back a few and you get dry, but he didn't know how the roof was going to close. It was obviously a visiting catcher, but it's quite an amazing feat here in Toronto, something that's very much needed. The Argonauts did leave. Blue Jays the only team playing here, Lee? Just the Blue Jays. And I guess that's why they put the dirt, because when the Argonauts left, then they didn't have to cover the field with all turf, which they had at one time, just dirt around the bases. And then they just simply covered those. But now with the dirt on the infield, which was major here for the team because of the infielders could stand on dirt versus the turf, as we talked earlier.
A couple of hits for Matt Chapman today, a single, a double, and 2 runs scored. Swing and a miss, and now it's 2-2.
See how it kind of folds in the back, and then it's not just one continuous, but it's state of the art when it was done.
Little pop-up. Maybe a chance for a hit, and it will fall. And Chapman's going to hustle for second, and he's going to make it. Third hit for Matt Chapman, and his second double.
2 hustle doubles, and I mean, you give the man a lot of credit because he continues to play hard. And really, the home field advantage is really a negative today because the home team is not making the plays consistently. And if the second baseman has to dive, he's looking. Hernandez, that's his ball. He's got to run hard and catch it. But Matt Chapman is not taking anything for granted. Head down a little bit upset, but then realized I better run hard because I got a chance for a gift double. And he gets it.
Here's Piscotty down in the way. So we got a report on Chris Davis, a right groin strain.
Yeah.
So keep our fingers crossed on that.
Also got a report from Mark Ling that the ball that was hit by Fowler was a sac fly, E9. Correct, Mark? Thank you very much. Mark Ling has been with us.
I mean, was there any doubt that that wasn't what the call was?
It should have been.
Because of, I mean, we got Ray here.
No,
I mean, he's the guy.
Now we got Mark. Mark has been with us. He's done a great job. Getting a lot of exposure, a lot of attention, doing a great job for us. So we appreciate that. It's 3 great cities in New York, Boston, Toronto.
3-0 now to Piscotty. Piscotty has been on base all 3 times. E5, walk, E6. So he's 0 for 2, but his on base percentage is going up. And that one's in for a strike. Deck McGuire is pitcher number 5 in this game.
Well, so far, and we're into the 7th inning of this game, I got 7 crooked numbers in scoring for the Athletics. Crooked number being anything but a 1. And the A's have done a good job not only scoring, but when you put the crooked number up, 4 spot in the 5th, 4 spot in the 6th.
And there's a walk. So Piscotty is on base for the 4th time. Problem for the Blue Jays, and obviously they're struggling right now. Lost 6 out of 7. They're a couple games under 500. You cannot afford to struggle in that division.
You're right.
Because
Exactly.
you not only have 1 good team ahead of you, you have 2.
Yeah.
And the Yankees and the Red Sox are starting to kind of boat race the other 3
Yeah.
teams. And then what that does, Ray, is it forces you to think about the wild card, which is okay.
Yeah.
But now you're only thinking about 1 wild card spot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right, and it's the second because if the Yankees and Red Sox go head to head,
Yeah.
I mean it's going to be hard, but you know that's why you play out the season, and it is a long one. And the Blue Jays, even the Angels had their 13-3. They started the season,
Sure.
their best start ever, and now I mean that's the good and the bad about a regular season, because you can have a tough time and still pick it up and win a division or play well down the stretch. You can lose 10 in a row only in regular season. You can't afford to do it in postseason. You don't even get that chance.
One and 2 the count to Jonathan Lucroy, who's got a couple of hits, 2 singles, a walk, and an RBI. Fouls it straight back. He's at 24 and 22 on the year. The Blue Jays 22 and 24. And look at the West. See, the West has stayed pretty close.
Yeah.
The other teams have not allowed the Astros to take off and grab a big lead. Seattle 2 back, Angels 3.5, and the A's just 4.5 back. One blocked nicely by Maley. So the AL West is interesting. But in the East, There you see the differential now as the Yankees and the Red Sox pull away. And actually, the Rays are ahead of Toronto.
Well, you look at the Red Sox 31-15. Remember, they were 17-2. So look at the difference. There's 14-13 since they were in Oakland. And that Friday night when they won, that Josh Lucas pitched 3 innings for the A's, the final 3 in that game. Nobody knew him then. They know him now, considering what he did Friday night.
Two on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count to Jonathan Lucroy. And now 3-2. So we've got McGuire. Not necessarily showing great control. So the runners will take off. Chapman and Piscotty. And there they go. Foul straight back to the screen. A's with 11 hits today, giving them 44 hits in this series. 9 runs today, giving them 27 runs in the 4-game series. And they have hit 6 home runs in the series. And that's outside. It's another walk. So the bases are loaded for Pinder. Hey, stick with the team you watched all season long. Tonight it's Game 3 at Oracle. Rockets, Warriors. Coverage begins at 3:30 with a special edition of Warriors Outsiders. Then Warriors Playoff Central before and after the game. It all starts on NBC Sports Bay Area Plus. So that's a big one tonight as 2 teams split. First 2 games in Houston. Now games 3 and 4 will be at Oracle Arena. Game 3 tonight. Game 4 will be Tuesday night. So both the A's and the Warriors will be playing right next to each other on Tuesday night.
Well, bases loaded yesterday. This is what he did in the 8th inning against Tyler Clippard. Grand slam to right center field, his first career grand slam. Clippard couldn't believe it, and can he do it again today? As he has the bases loaded again. He didn't try yesterday. You don't try, sometimes good things happen. Just trying to drive the ball in the gap, I mean, with the way that he hit the ball yesterday, it's a pretty good chance he was going to tie the game at 4, but it ended up being the slam that put the A's ahead.
A 1 pitch. A tight little slider that called the strike. So Pinder behind in the count 0-2. All this action this inning started with 2 outs. It was Chapman's bloop double. And then back-to-back walks to Piscotty and Lucroy. Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a high fastball. So the A's load him up, do not score. We have reached the 7th inning stretch with the A's leading big 9-0.
guests out to this space. It's within the Shy Park Tavern. Seats will be located immediately in front of Shy Park Tavern. That's in our Plaza Club Suites, which is a great site. It's the most premium group hospitality experience at the Coliseum. Go to athletics.com/groups for more details. Good line score for the Athletics as they're leading 9-0 bottom of the 7th inning. Daniel Mingden doing an outstanding job. He's only given up a couple of hits while the A's have collected 11 in this game so far. So A's trying to sweep the Toronto Blue Jays in a 4-game series. 3s are tough. 4s are almost impossible. With the A's with needing 9 more outs to get this sweep. They're trying to do it with Daniel Mingden pitching the 7th.
And he'll face Smoke, Hernandez, and Solarte here in the 7th. Smoke, a couple of fly balls to right field, so he is 0 for 2. 3 for 12 in the series.
You know what's great about what Daniel Mingden's doing? We talked at the beginning of the game about how well he has pitched lately and continues to pitch, but all of a sudden he gets the big lead and he's not giving up anything.
And another strike.
Morales with a base hit that could have been a double, turns out to be a base hit. He gets out of a 2nd-3rd jam, and from that point on he's giving up nothing. So part of the strike zone. Brian Gorman said, hey, 9-0, let's move along.
Pitch is high, so 2-2 the count.
But since the sacrifice by Urena, of course that's out, so 3, 6, 9, 12 in a row that he has retired, counting the out by Urena. That was back in the 3rd inning. But the biggest was getting the 2 outs with runners at 2nd and 3rd.
That one is hit high, deep to right, but room for Piscotty. And that's out number 1. Hey, check it out, Ray.
Got a new one?
We got a new one. Carlos Ramirez was claimed off waivers today from Toronto. He was pitching in AAA for the Blue Jays this season, and big league numbers just in a couple of games.
Hey, he's got a smile on his face.
That's because he just was told that the A's grabbed him, and he's excited about that. So Carlos Ramirez is an Athletic. So we'll let you know what and where on Carlos Ramirez. Want to know to Teoscar Hernandez. Hernandez is 0 for 7 in this series. Chapman fires across and shows off that miles per hour. It was 103. He threw that 103 miles per hour.
But you see how the ball, he had to go to his right. Watch right here. Watch that. You know, it's not an easy. I mean, first of all, you have to catch it. Fortunately for him, he's got the arm that he can throw 100 miles an hour across the diamond. But he got it, threw it, zip. No stretch necessary for Matt Olson. As Matt Chapman, he's received a few of those.
So 2 away here in the 7th. 94 pitches for Migden as he faces Solarte. And his pitching staff has done a good job in this series against a Blue Jays offense that, coming into today, 3rd in the American League in runs scored. They've scored a lot of runs this year, but in this series, just 10. And obviously, the bullpen deserves a lot of credit for much of that. Even yesterday, Sean Manaea pitched okay. It wasn't his best outing. Migden's been good today. And that one is caught by Migden, and he steps on the bag, and that was a heck of a play. Olson's got a little smile on his face.
Is he hurt?
So let's hope Daniel Migden's okay. He had to reach awkwardly backwards and then keep his foot on the bag. That's a heck of a play. So Daniel Migden's okay after kind of an awkward play. A very good play, but make sure he's okay. Yes. Fowler goes after the first pitch and pops it up. That's the shortstop, Urena, who grabs it.
Smart play today brought to you by your California Ford dealers. We'll take the smile from Daniel Migden because this play's a little bit concerning. Great play by Matt Olson with Morales running. Could have taken a nap with a sandwich, but he had to reach back awkwardly. He was able to touch the bag as he caught it, but watch the left shoulder reaching back. Adrian Johnson, the first base umpire, actually stopped him, but in the dugout, he's kind of indicated what happened, like they separated and snapped back, but bottom line, he seems to be okay. And to take another look, if good job covering, but the fact that he's going down the line and had to reach back. And again, with Morales, he could have stopped instead of reaching and still had plenty of time. But looks like he's okay to go back out.
That's out number 2, and that looks like Dwight Smith out in left field. So Simeon is retired. Marcus has had a good day with 3 RBIs.
See, man, Migden stands and he said, I'm ready to go. We don't have to wait around. Let's just go.
So at bat number 5 for Lowry, he's 0 for 3. He's struck out a couple times. He's also walked. Chris Hatcher warming up for the A's.
Well, he might have gone out for the A's. Remember the game against Chicago, the White Sox? That was back on April the 16th. Daniel Migden had a shutout through 8 innings. And Bob Melvin had said, hey, you know, it's questionable because still early in the season. That was only start number 4 for him. Ended up giving up a home run to Abreu, and then he came out of the game with 106 pitches.
And it's going to be another error. Urena could not pick it up clean. And that's an E6,
4.
and that is 4 errors today for the Blue Jays.
That's the thing that's most noticeable on line score for the Blue Jays.
You mean twice as many errors than hits?
Yeah. And you know, there it is. I mean, it's almost like they've said this game's over. Let's just go through the motions, because that's unfortunate for these fans who paid good Canadian money to watch this game today. It looks like they're just saying they're going through the motions, and that's not what a major league team should do. But maybe they're trying, maybe they're not, but they're making 4 errors, and if the fans are here, it's not been a particularly great game for them to watch.
Well, do you think if they made an announcement right now over the loudspeaker here at the Rogers Center and they said that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was 4 for 4 today and he's hitting .423, how do you think they would react? Standing ovation. So he had twice as many hits as the Blue Jays had.
And that maybe give him something to cheer about. So maybe we can go talk to the PA announcer, Lee. Go give him that note.
Oh, yeah, by the way, his last hit was a walk-off home run.
Oh, my God.
We'll see him soon, folks,
Wow.
and it'll be exciting for the people here in Toronto.
Well,
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
If June 15th is the magical date, today is the 20th of May. So by the time the Blue Jays do come to the Coliseum in, I think, the last couple of days of July, first day of August, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then maybe seeing the young man. Who knows?
Yeah, you're right. It's July 30th, 31st, and August 1st. And I would imagine that he'll be here at that point.
Well, and coincidentally, July the 31st is the trading deadline, which you may be seeing an unloading of a lot of players from various teams, especially those who, you know, as of yesterday, I think, kind of in the American League, there were only 6 teams 500 or above. 4 of those teams were in the Western Division. And the Central got to 500 with the Indians yesterday. Yeah. And the Rays got to 22 and 22 at 500. So the 2 in the East and 4 in the West, none in the Central before today.
Hernandez comes in, and Hernandez, the right fielder, has it. Side retired. Runner left after the air. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's 9-0 A's lead.
Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
All right, here's our game summary for today. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 9-11-0 for the A's, and for the Blue Jays, that's ugly. No runs, 2 hits, and 4 errors. Daniel Mignon, terrific. 7 shutout innings. Jonathan Lucroy, a couple of hits. Simeon with a 2-run homer, and lots of offense for the Athletics, and they have taken advantage of some poor Blue Jays defense. So that one guy in the middle with the gold jersey on,
he's happy.
Sight. Chris Hatcher is the new pitcher. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. So this is Dwight Smith, who's batting for the first time. He's in the game. Pilar is out. So we've seen Dwight Smith in this series, but not in the starting lineup today.
Chris Hatcher, a good job pitching for the Athletics, which is important considering the necessity out of the bullpen for the A's relievers.
So 1-2 to Smith. Kendrys Morales will be next, and then Luke Maley. Tap slowly. Hatcher underhands, and that's out number 1.
Hey, how about a special day, everybody? Let's pay attention now because it's my partner's birthday. Happy birthday, and Big Brother sent you a note.
He did. What a guy.
Happy birthday to my little brother Glenn. From the intimidating stands to a terrific broadcaster. Safe travels home. See you for coffee tomorrow.
All right, that's a deal.
You're lefty? You're lefty?
lefty?
How old were you then?
Oh, man.
Is that out on the
Not
farm?
very old. That, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
The birthday boy.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Happy birthday, man.
Not getting any younger.
Listen, we didn't have Wanda here to bring you that pizza.
I know.
That
I know.
was it pizza cake from Texas?
It was good.
That was the most special birthday present you'd ever got.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it was pretty
Well,
darn
I mean,
good.
in
Put it
Texas
this way,
anyway.
we could go for it right
In
now.
Texas, yeah. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that's not special. I know, I'm sure Amanda's waiting for you.
You know what?
Your wife and kids are waiting for you for a nice birthday present. Get home at a nice time tonight. If you can avoid the Warriors traffic.
Well, you know what? If
4-game sweep, 7-3 road trip, if it hangs on.
If I'm going to be on the road, at least the team is winning. That helps, but I am looking forward to going home.
Happy birthday. That's
Thank
great.
you.
That's great.
Yeah, that picture showed what it was all about, Ray. A field full of soybeans and silos behind us. And that was the childhood right there with a baseball bat in my hand.
Well, it's nice that Big Brother
Oh, yeah.
found that picture to send it out so we could show everybody exactly what the youngster looked like out on the farm.
Long time ago.
And to be the little brother, too, I mean, that says a lot.
Yeah, just kind of following everybody around is kind of what I did.
Well, you know, I think of you.
Hasn't changed much.
Well, but it's like the late catfish hunter. I asked him one time, I said, how were you able to throw strikes? He said, I was the youngest of the brothers, and if my brothers, they said you could play if you could throw strikes. So, you know, perhaps that's kind of the same thing. You want to be a part of the family.
Yeah.
So they say, hey, little brother.
And they cut, they cut no slack. So.
Yeah. So that's
My dad used
soybeans
to
and
shake
silos.
his
That's
head.
good. There
There
you
it
go.
is.
That's a great one. Look at the silos in the back to the right.
Silos in the back.
Got the soybeans.
That's a field of soybeans.
Yeah,
right
nice
next
hair
to
too,
that.
man. That's good. No
Batting
batting
gloves. That's right.
That looked like an 016 with a big handle in it. Your hands barely fit around it.
Yeah, but that's the bat my older brothers used,
Yeah,
so
of
I
course.
had to use it.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
That's the way it works. Morales has his second hit, and just the third hit for the Blue Jays today.
Well, it's been a dominating series for the Athletics, and for Kendrys Morales again going down. Jonathan Lucroy thinking about blocking a ball that was down, but Morales, a good job taking the ball up the middle.
Well, if the Blue Jays are going to stay in contention, they need Kendrys Morales bad. He's a pretty good hitter, but he has not got off to a good start.
That's a good point, but you think about as the trading deadline approaches and a team that might be looking more for youth, he's one dimension. He's not going to play a position.
One dimension, yeah.
And that's one of the tough things for a designated hitter. While it's a great job to have, But if you can't do anything but hit because your fielding ability and your running ability is not there, it even makes it tough when they play interleague because he's primarily a DH.
Well, last year he hit 28 home runs, knocked in 85 runs. And this year he's really hasn't done anything. But that's sort of the thought process too, Ray, with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is he's a third baseman. Donaldson's the shoulders bothering him.
Yeah.
Maybe you play Guerrero at third and DH Donaldson, which, listen, you're trying to put your best team out.
Right.
The problem with the Morales situation is he's got a contract for next year at $11 million a year. So he's in year 2 of a 3-year, $33 million deal. And he's a pretty good hitter. He just has not got going this year. But you know, you're 46 games into the season.
Yeah.
Three and 1 the count to Luke Maley with Urena. Shortstop waiting in the on-deck circle. And that's outside, so Hatcher walks Maley. Second walk issued by A's pitchers today. It is making the walk just one. Astros will play tonight. They are the nationally televised game. Astros and the Indians, rubber game of that series. Carrasco and McCullers, the pitching matchup. Astros will stay home. They'll be off Monday. They will have an interleague series actually against the Giants Tuesday and Wednesday, just a 2-game set. Tigers and the Mariners will start in just a little bit. Liriano and LeBlanc. Paxton last night, a complete game. He was dealing again. He's having a terrific season for the Mariners. So the Mariners home. They will head to the Bay Area either tonight or maybe tomorrow and get ready for the 3-game set against the Athletics. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at the Coliseum. Lowry will get the out at first. Runners both move up, but 2 outs now. So on Tuesday night, game 1 of that series, it'll be Mike Leake and Trevor Cahill. So for Leake, it'll be his 10th start. For Cahill, it'll be his 6th start. Trevor's pitched well for the Athletics, so showed you those standings and how close things are in the AL West. Well, all of a sudden, every time you play a division opponent, it becomes a big series.
Big time, yeah.
That's called being in contention, which is kind of fun.
There's nothing better, and to your point about, you know, you'd like to be able to play meaningful games, and that's why fans of the Oakland A's should be out and about next week with the long homestand beginning with starting Tuesday, the Mariners, the Diamondbacks, and then the Rays for a nice long homestand. So an opportunity to come out, support the team, and enjoy good baseball, because right now A's are playing as well as anybody.
One and 1 to Granderson. Fouls it back. Rays and the Angels will start in just a little bit. That's Ohtani and Romo. We talked about that game, but more importantly for the Angels, they are scuffling. They've lost 5 in a row. 7 out of 9, and the Rays have a chance to finish a 4-game sweep in Anaheim. Rays have outscored the Angels 20-7 in the first 3 games of that series. And even before that series, the Angels struggling a little bit offensively. Angels will, after that game, they will have a 10-game road trip. They'll come here, as Ray mentioned, go to New York, and then finish with 4 at Detroit. The Angels have a terrific road record of 14-4, so maybe that's what they need. Get out on the road.
Sounds like it, yeah. Sure sounds like it. And really with Ohtani, Powerful left-handed bat, but the last night lineup against Romo to start, predominantly a right-handed hitting lineup, and granted, Ohtani does not play DH the day before or day after he pitches. And you kind of stand on that schedule.
Swing and a miss. So Hatcher strikes out Granderson and gets out of the jam as the Blue Jays strand a couple. Ninth inning coming up.
Brought to you by Toyota. Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by SoFi, a modern finance company.
So it's 9-0. He's leading the Blue Jays, and a little fun for the Blue Jays as Kendrys Morales has taken them out. The fans love it. They said, thank you. We want something to cheer about today.
Yeah, they got it. Or maybe somebody made the announcement about Guerrero.
Guerrero's on his way. So Kendrys Morales on the mound, and first pitch is inside to Matt Olson, and I'm still 100% convinced that, listen, you're facing a guy who's not a pitcher, right? But if you're a hitter, do you want to do this? Because you're supposed to get a hit, right?
We're supposed to, yeah.
And then what if you don't get a hit? And then what if he strikes you out?
Everybody laughs at you.
Yeah. Now it's 3-0.
You know, it's possible that in the booth next to us, Buck Martinez, an excellent catcher, a manager of the Blue Jays. There was a game in Kansas City that he pitched and I caught.
Really?
So they had two catchers. The Brewers used 4 position players.
Oh, so this is in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, right. And we were teammates. Let's see.
Smith makes a nice catch. He caught it, banged up against that side wall just a little bit, but man, he ran a long ways. Heck of a play.
Ball slicing away, and Smith, you like to see this when the club is down as much as the Blue Jays are, 9-0 in the 9th inning, but good hustle by Smith, who did not start the game. Granderson started in left and has moved over. A nice play.
So here's Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman's had a big day. He is 3 for 4, single, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored, and he's had a terrific series. 7 for 13. So there's some of your changes. Smith, Granderson, Urshela comes in at third, and now Morales is the pitcher, and he's pumping fastballs in there. And you know what? He's working quickly. And I say thank you very much.
And you know what's even worse? He even looks in for a sign. What's Bailey going to say? Throw whatever you want. I can catch it barehanded.
Well, he looks like he's got an idea. He just threw a breaking ball. So Morales looks good. We saw Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah.
He looked like he could pitch right now.
Yeah. Well, not too long ago when the Blue Jays were in postseason, remember there's a kid named Cliff Pennington who pitched in postseason.
A couple years ago.
Which was the first time ever in postseason that a pitcher or a position player pitched in postseason.
So wait a minute. So now you caught and Buck Martinez pitched in Milwaukee.
Well, actually, we were playing for the Brewers, but we were playing in Kansas City.
Really?
And it was a game, I think, Jim Gantner as well as Sal Bando pitched. Gumby.
Right. And that would just miss. Close pitch.
Now here's the test. How do you pitch out of the stretch? Let's see. If I have to come to a set position. Fans wanted this strike. Target down and away. Little cut fastball. Or maybe that was his fastball at 82.
So here's Piscotty. So Morales will go from the stretch. Chapman not being held on in the first pitch. Is popped up toward Hernandez in right field. See, Piscotty right now is going, seriously.
Yeah.
I just popped up to right field against a pitch, against a designated hitter.
It's almost like you wanted to just make contact. But the worst guy I've ever seen in Colorado, day-night doubleheader, the first game of blowout, Frankie Menachino was the pitcher. Somebody got their first major league home run. Can you imagine? You got to go in the book and put down Frankie Menachino as the first pitcher?
Yeah, it's like a half a home run.
Fegley's pitched before. He's got a good arm. Chapman, according to the manager, will never do this.
No,
because he does not want to take a chance. But Chappie would be good.
There's Wilmer Font. A little bit inside. 87. No, that one was 82 miles an hour. Lucroy's got 2 hits and a walk.
That was the starter. Giannini.
Like a breaking ball that stayed high.
Enough for the fans who have stayed around and the total attendance. What was it today, Kay?
Total attendance was 30,676. Hit well to center. Granderson hustling back, and he's got it. For Kendrys Morales walks one, and he walks off the mound to a standing ovation. Bottom of the ninth coming up.
In the 50-50 raffle, it's presented by Sutter Health. Tickets are sold from gates opening through the last out of the 6th inning from raffle sellers or at the kiosk at section 217. The winner will be announced in game and will receive 50% of the jackpot, with the remainder benefiting the A's Community Fund. Learn more at athletics.com/raffle. You have the great Dick Callahan reading off the number. Ladies and gentlemen, the number for the winner of the 50-50 raffle is Dick's good man.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts, as Wilmer Font comes in for his 10th appearance. And the A's trying to get a shutout. They got 2 shutouts so far this year. So here's Gio Urshela hitting for the first time. He came in for Donaldson. So Josh Donaldson, a very quiet series. That one's hit high in the air to left field. That's Canna in left, and Canna with his right hand up against the fence, just finding out exactly where he is. Reaches up the left hand and makes the catch. So Canna's in the game. Pinder moves to second. Jed Lowry is going to take the rest of the day off. So here's Smoke. First pitch right in there, first strike. So it looks like the A's are going to finish up a terrific road trip. And you can keep an eye on the Astros now, Ray. If Indians could beat the Astros, the A's would be 3.5 games out of first place.
Yeah, amazing. On May the 22nd, when play resumes for the Athletics, that will be Tuesday after the off day tomorrow. And a very deserving off day tomorrow after a 10-game road trip with 11 days on the road. 11 plus, as a matter of fact, left a week ago Wednesday, 2 weeks from this coming Wednesday after the game against the Astros. Seemed like about a month ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, Ray, we've been gone for 2 months straight. We're joking. We're not complaining.
Yep.
3 good cities, New York, Boston, Toronto, and the A's are playing terrific baseball. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Smoke heads back to the dugout.
Time now for the Chrysler Drive the game. How about this long shot by Marcus Semien, giving him 5 of the season. This is one of the longest ones, as it was gone to left center in a 5-run inning or 4-run inning for the Athletics. Just capped it. A long shot by Marcus Semien as he heads back home. So Marcus sure be watching, paying attention to what the Warriors do tonight. He's also got another baby due at the end of this month.
Yes, he does.
Sometimes. Tara, his wife, so we wish them well, and maybe this homestand, who knows? We'll see.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1, 96 miles an hour from Font. Hatcher won an inning after Daniel Migden's 7 shutout innings. So Daniel Migden will get his 4th win of the year. So 3-1 the count. A's post-game live coming up. And then we will see you again on Tuesday night at the Coliseum. Open up a 10-game homestand.
2 days older than today. Starting your next birthday.
But you were mentioned it earlier, Ray. What more do you want? A's are playing great baseball. Yeah. They just showed that what they can do against some really good teams. They've won 6 out of 7. They're right in the race.
Well, you think where the A's and assuming they get this foul out, 25-22 after 47 games. If you think about the last 10 games, counting today, where everybody anticipated the A's would be and what kind of record they would have following these 10 games.
That one's hit high in the air. Fowler's back. Fowler near the wall, and it is gone. Hervis Solarte breaks up the shutout. And now it's 9-2.
But not only the home run, but the walk that preceded it to Hernandez. Two very aggressive hitters. Guys that like to swing the bat. And Elmer Font with a high fastball. I think Solarte knew it was gone, giving him 10 on the season. And 29 driven in. Yes, you could say the A's pitching staff want to get greedy, thinking a shutout.
Oh, here's Smith. So quick meeting. So Lucroy back behind home plate. Popped up, and it should reach the seats, and it will. A little bit outside. 2-1 the count to Smith. Second at bat for Smith, and bounce back to the pitcher. High again, and now it's 3-1. Swing and a miss by Smith. So now it's a full count, 2 outs. Font trying to finish it off. Fouled on the left field line. It'll be Mike Leake and Trevor Cahill on Tuesday night at the Coliseum. And that one's low. So second walk issued by Font.
Last thing you want is the manager to start getting nervous. You never want to see that, but you like to have a clean game. You don't want to have anybody else have to get up out of the bullpen.
Nope.
You hope that Chris Davis recovers quickly. Daniel Mengden maybe came out precautionary with the 97 pitches, but also that shoulder. Hope that's nothing serious.
Swing and a miss by Kendrys Morales. Morales, a couple of singles. Gave the crowd some enjoyment by pitching a scoreless top of the 9th inning. He is the DH, so you can keep him in the game. Rolled foul up the first base line. So Font jumps ahead of Morales. Blue Jays will be off tomorrow. They will stay home. They'll host the Angels Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Angels go off on a long trip. The A's head home for a long homestand. In the dirt. Nice block by Lucroy. So 22 pitches for Wilmer Font here in the bottom of the 9th inning, trying to get that third out. He got the first 2 outs, but then a walk, home run, walk. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that's the ball game. That's the series. That's the road trip. And all 3 of those things were very, very good. First 4-game sweep on the road since 2016. They did that at Kansas City. Boy, the A's finished this road trip 7-3, and they have to be absolutely thrilled. How could they not be there now? 25-22, heading home for a 10-game homestand. Time of game 3 hours and 11 minutes. The attendance 30,676. The Oakland A's sweep the Toronto Blue Jays in this 4-game series. Time now for A's post-game live. Plenty to talk about. Here's Jim Kozol.